I'm going to bet 10% on Hikaru winning somehow. That means 90% I agree that it'll be a draw.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to win when your king's on A2 and you can't leave the A file.
You keep complaining. You keep complaining about the dumb pieces on the A file.
He won in 1 second after I said it. The guy walked into a fork. Yeah, you always put your king and rook on different colors. That way you never walk into a fork. You have to have your. And he had his king on a white square and his rook on a dark square, and he moved his king to a dark square. Unbelievable. Well, he made it to move 100, so that was good. That was important.
Doing.
Hey everyone, it's David and Ben. It's hard to go on David after Danny because it's hard to get him to stop talking. But eventually we did. Eventually.
Yeah. We just sit there in the background sending him IMs like, Danny, Stu Copen wants everyone to see his beautiful game here.
Did you go over to his house? Because you're an IM. Oh, not that kind of IM. Never mind.
No. For you tonight, we've got Hikaru Nakamura and Shakhriyar Mamedyarov in the lineups today. Playing for the Sluggers and the Hackers, respectively. And if you look at the Pacific Division pairings with me for a second, or standings, let's see.
I'll give you 2 seconds. How's that?
There we go. Got him.
Yeah.
You will see that 2 of the top teams in the Pacific, the Chengdu Pandas and the Australia Kangaroos, will be clashing today. And so that's the first place and the third place team are clashing today. And if I click to show you the pairings, you will see that the average rating of the Pandas is a whopping 25-35, thanks to playing 2 females.
They got 2 women, that's right.
2 women, which each give you an extra 100 points of rating cap, so to speak. So their rating average is almost 100 points over this Australia Kangaroos lineup. And despite that, I'm going to say the Kangaroos have a shot today.
I'm always thinking the Pandas will win. There's no reason I'm going to change my mind now.
You always think the Pandas will win.
I like the Pandas.
The Pandas finished second on Super Saturday, so I was really impressed that the Kangaroos finished third. I guess finishing behind the Pandas doesn't really suggest that they'll beat them today. But the Kangaroos have overperformed so far. Brandon Clark, apparently the Blitz champion of Australia, on board 4. And then this guy, Alexei Serrana, had an incredible board 1 performance on Super Saturday, scoring like 6 out of 8, I think, on board 1. So I expect him to, again, outperform 25-40. So I think this, and Smirnov, obviously young and talented, so well-suited for speed chess. So I think this Kangaroos team, you know, they surprised me 3 or 4 rounds already by being at the top of the standings. But I think at some point their position in the standings here is not an accident. And maybe today they'll upset the Pandas.
No, they're certainly underrated, especially their board 4. And yeah, it's unusual when a 25-41 can hold his own with high 26, low 2,700 players. But that seems to be, maybe they're just hopping mad and they're going to show everybody that they can win this division. Obviously, the Pandas are a favorite, but as we've seen in a lot of these matches, the favorites don't always win. And it seems like in some of the matches, the board 1s that we're used to are getting benched. We saw Dominguez benched earlier, and now this match, Yu Yangyi's not playing, which is very surprising. But
that's right.
I wasn't here for Super Saturday doing live commentary. I sort of followed along. But it seemed like he didn't have a good Saturday, David.
No, I mean, he went into it with 11.5 out of 12, and he scored like 3.5 out of 8, and it's like,
not good.
Not good. Not going to cut it. But before we get to any of those matches, what we have for you, first of all, is the Hergiz-sponsored San Diego Surfers, also up there in the standings with 2.5, 1.5, taking on the Rio Grande Ospreys. So white here is the Nom Nom Factor, Craig Hilby, young international master from SoCal. Playing for the Surfers. He's got a nice little opening advantage against Stu Copen, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, white wants to get his queenside going, and black's playing solid, but it seems like in the short run, white's queenside is going to be more effective than black's kingside majority. So Sukhopen's playing for the long run and hoping he can prevent white from playing, c4, c5, and eventually get his king side going. But yeah, this does look like I'd rather have white here because I don't really see how black's going to stop white from advancing on the queen side.
Yeah, I mean, even last move, white could have played c4, and I'm sure he considered it. Maybe he didn't want to allow knight e3,
and
rook
bishop,
e1, knight takes f1, rook takes f1. But even that position, his knight's way better than the bishop. I would gladly play that.
Yeah, that seems good for white also.
Seems really good. So I'm not even totally sure why he hasn't played c4 yet, but could be coming next move. Black could play b5, and then you could still play c4, but he didn't go for it. So here comes the real c4.
Yep.
And as long as black's bishop is so bad, I'm going to prefer white a little bit.
No, I agree. And c4 is explosive, as we all know, so it looks good for white.
All right.
Well, as usual, the young players are doing well.
Hold that thought, because Hikaru has just entered the building for the Seattle Sluggers, playing what looks like a Nimzo Indian. But this position...
It's definitely Nimzo Indian. Yep.
Okay. But this position, I was going to say, can also come out of the Patanov Botvinnik attack and the Rogozin defense to the Queen's Gambit declined. This is one of those positions that comes out of 6 different openings, so I never want to promise it's a Nimzo.
Yeah, pretty solid opening for Hikaru. Sometimes when he's playing board 4, he tries to get out of theory on move 1 or 2 and mix it up, but he's playing standard mainline, streamline, everything theory, and just trying to equalize first and outplay his opponent. However, he's still Hikaru, so he's still playing instantly.
Okay.
So has a big time advantage, and they're probably still in preparation here.
Right. Now, he's facing off against the Dallas Destiny today, and so his final board 1 clash will be against Grandmaster Jeffrey Xiong, 17-year-old American, one of our top prospects for having another world-class player. Obviously, we got 3 top 10 players right now, but, for the next generation, 3 years down the road. But despite having Jeffrey Xiong on top board, the Dallas Destiny have a fairly balanced lineup where their 4th board is rated 24-26 FIDE.
That's a good 4th board.
That's a pretty darn high rated 4th board. I don't know if we've seen higher yet very often this.
And I can't pronounce his name. And as I told Michael Adams before you were born, David, if you can't pronounce your opponent's name, they're probably really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, that's the only thing that stopped Michael from becoming world champion. His name was too easy to pronounce.
In fact, this guy's name, no offense to Chess.com, which is available in like 50 languages at this point, but this guy's name can't even be displayed.
It can't be spelled.
It can't be spelled by Chess.com with all the different, languages and like characters that we have. There's just a random square in here for we can't handle this.
I'm a pretty big character, so we can use me.
So we can use you.
Yeah.
To stand in there. So, but his name is something like Streamavarius, like the streaming version of Stradivarius.
I was just going to say, Hikaru's going to play him like a fiddle, so you better watch it.
Yeah. All right. So transition to the hanging pawns and to the bishop pair all at once. Usually I'm pretty pumped when that happens to me as white.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Of all the top players in the world, I think Hikaru likes his knights more than anybody.
Yeah, you did say that last broadcast.
Yeah, Hikaru likes to trade off his bishops for knights, and he likes his knights. And I mean, I guess we're going to find out. I mean, I play the Chigorin with black, so who am I to talk? But this is pretty solid from Hikaru. This is really normal stuff where black's just playing for equality, and he'll play for a win later. And earlier today I was watching Vishy Anand play, and he was doing the same thing. It seemed like he was playing for equality with white and black, and I didn't see how he did it. Oh, he won his 4th game. I think he drew his first 3.
Oh, wow!
He's just getting used to Chess.com. So unlike Hikaru, who's probably played more on Chess.com than anybody in this tournament.
Yeah, he's got a way of logging a lot of games.
And somehow, no matter what the opening is, Hikaru moves instantly. It's very off-putting for his opponent. It's hard to play somebody when they're so confident and playing so fast.
It's like, do you know everything about every single opening? Is there no surprise I could ever pull on you?
Now, at the risk of sounding stupid, which I've done many times, is Hikaru have a threat here? If he plays knight g4, is that serious?
Oh, with these kind of like bishop takes f3, queen h2 mate kind of ideas?
That is annoying. Well, I guess he could do it because the guy, well, he did it instantly.
Yeah.
So I thought that maybe he did that so he could play bishop e4. Maybe that's why he played bishop to d3.
Yeah, bishop e4 would be a defense here that doesn't create weaknesses like g3 does on this long diagonal.
Yeah, g3 might just lose to queen c6. That looks pretty dangerous.
That would be sort of like a pretty clear demonstration of the weakness on the diagonal.
But I don't see a forced win for black. So I think white has to play bishop e4 here.
Bishop e4, you'd say.
We were talking about how white has the two bishops, and that's the end of that.
Yep. Yeah, and trading those bishops might allow black to control c4 and d5.
But queen c7 was a really strong move because probably white was afraid of bishop takes f3, and he would have to play gf because his queen on e2 is defending the bishop on c4. So he sort of avoided that, but then he walked into this.
Yeah. From my experience, bishop takes f3 is not the hugest threat. Like, you can take back and keep playing with the two bishops, but people are often really afraid of it. So they'll do something to avoid it.
Somehow there's a long think here. Is there a move that's not bishop e4? Am I missing something?
Well, the g3 certainly looked bad.
Yeah, that's...
What else could there be?
Well, if he plays something else, that'll show me.
Yeah.
I don't see anything else.
I mean, there's some world in which you could play something really risky, like allowing the black queen into h2, maybe rook e1, bishop f3, queen h2, king f1.
Yeah, I mean,
idea king e2 and rook h1.
Unless there's something that's wrong with bishop e4 that I don't see, I would be playing it pretty quickly.
You just play it fast and stop worrying.
But maybe there's something I don't see that's good tactically. I just don't see what it is.
All right. Stop trying to ask yourself, is there some funky way I could let Hikaru chase my king around the board, but it wouldn't quite kill me?
Yeah. Sacrificing. Okay, so he played bishop e4.
He did. He found it.
Which obviously Hikaru expected. And that's the end of the two bishops. And now he's going to go to work on those quote-unquote hanging pawns, try to dominate the white squares. And it's hard for white to get an attack against black's king or to push his pawns. So this seems like, to me, Hikaru's at least equal. And shockingly, although not too shockingly, he's up 5.5 minutes on the clock, which is a lot in a 15-minute game. It seems pretty common with Hikaru, though. He just plays really quickly and pretty accurately, too.
Yeah. I mean, this is pretty simple. His knight was attacked. He brought it back towards d5 and c4. Now he's going to go rook c8, and white's probably going to have to look at c4 here, because once black plays queen c4, yeah, okay. So he's at least confident to make, some of his moves pretty fast. I mean, 2,400 plus FIDE. This guy is no chump. Though Hikaru may make him look like one, he certainly isn't.
I thought white would play like bishop h4 to g3, but he surprised me with bishop to d2. And again, Hikaru's just playing super solid. Probably Hikaru wants to play knight f8 to g6 and control the f4 square and attack those pawns. Could also play knight b8 to c6 and attack the pawns that way. I just like the knight on g6. That's a personal thing that I like.
He could also bring his queen to a6 and tickle two pawns from there. It can also create this pin along the diagonal, which sometimes lets you have tactics with like, knight d5 kind of moves at some point. Or I don't know, that could be a strong square maybe.
Trying to see if anything super interesting is going on yet. It's pretty early still.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's pretty interesting. The game Carlos Javia versus Michael Brown, which I guess is the board 2 versus the board 3 in the San Diego match versus Rio Grande.
Let's see.
That seems like Michael Brown's king might get in trouble.
All right, I found him. QT do d5. All right, so Hevia white here is, okay. So Brown tries to close things down with f5, f4.
The problem with closing things down is you stop the attack, but your bishop on g7 is a little suspicious.
So now he's given up on opening that up.
I mean, I'm going to play bishop g4, trade those bishops, double on the g file, and your bishop on g7 is terrible.
It is pretty bad. I think bishop g4 should be played quickly, and it looks like Hevia should have a pretty decent positional advantage here.
So he has a lot of problems here.
Yeah.
d6 is weak. The g file's open. Okay, he played bishop e. He doesn't want to trade white.
That makes sense. I mean, he refuses it. because trading, helps white double his rooks. Now the bishop on g4 is blocking white from doubling his rooks, and it just concedes squares like, light squares for the knight eventually. So this makes sense. He can even tuck it to f7 at some point, attack the c pawn, see what white does about that, and keep things a little bit more complicated. So it seems like a good choice.
And a match just started, the one we were talking about earlier before we were on the air, that it seemed like the team that has Naroditsky on board 2 has to have a strong lineup.
Yeah.
With Mamedyarov on board 1, San Jose team.
Yeah, once again. Let's see. Nope, that's another game of his.
Yeah, we got Azeri Chess, Mamedyarov. I believe he's number 2 in the world. However, remember the however, if we look at his Chess.com rating, very suspicious. 1,800. So he's a huge underdog against Jacek Stopa, 24-28. If Mamedyarov somehow wins, it would be a 600-point upset.
Yeah, and you see the Desert Rats playing quite a balanced lineup, everybody. Stopa, Grandmaster, is in fact their 4th board. This is not an error. They are playing
and my former teammate
Stopa on board 4.
Go Stopa.
And Mamedyarov plays the delayed Dutch defense. You probably don't see that every day at the GM level.
Not surprising that he's trying to mix it up, though. That's what he likes to do.
Yeah.
Wow, Hikaru's game has changed a lot. What happened here? So his opponent, whose names I can't pronounce, decided to eliminate his isolated A pawn.
Isolated A pawn, rushed up the board and got rid of that. Let's see.
And Hikaru took it. He played your idea. So you were right, David. He played queen b7 to a6, attacking, putting pressure on the c pawn.
I knew that was a good square. I mean, once Hikaru does it, I get to say it was a good square, right?
That's right. Now Hikaru has the b6 square for his knight, which I didn't see coming, to be honest.
Yeah. It was hard to see it coming with the pawn on b6.
Yeah. Wow, Hikaru pre-move queen takes e2.
Yeah.
And then pre-move knight to b8.
Yep.
Now, I did suggest knight b8 to c6 earlier. That was with the pawns on d4 and c4. Yeah. Now it's even stronger.
It's even more pertinent now, right? There's no d4, d5 coming from white, and, he might want this a5.
So white can win his pawn back with bishop takes a5. Then I guess rook d5, knight c6, and black has a beautiful blockade. White has a weak d pawn.
Yeah. I think he'll go rook d7 to keep an eye on his a pawn and keep d5 open for knight maneuvers.
Right. Otherwise, well, rook d7 I can't play knight e5 because you take on d4. Yeah. Well, we'll find out. He didn't pre-move. Rook d7. You're right again.
2 for 2.
Yep. How many 15-minute games does somebody have an 8-minute advantage? Is it like all of Hikaru's games? And then nobody else?
I'm looking
that's
around.
Like my dream is to be ahead so much time in a 15-minute game, but I've never achieved such.
Yeah,
such
just scanning down the list of times, everything else is like 428 versus 420, 530 versus 340, 408 versus 420, and yeah.
Let's look at Keaton Kirwa versus Gabuzian. This looks like Kirwa's putting the squeeze on him. Is this another board 2, board 3 matchup? I think so. And Kirwa beat me last year. That wasn't nice. It's Keaton 87.
I will find this rude guy for you in a second. All right, here he is, Keaton.
Yeah, so a big time advantage for Gabuzian, but nice center, 2 bishops, active for white. So as per usual, all 3 results possible. But as also per usual, the higher rated player always seems to have more time. Not sure how that is. Must be lucky. And it's funny, that was my preparation. I was mentioning Jacek Stopa earlier. There was a match played in St. Louis about 6 years ago, the Kings versus the Queens. And we played 5 games of Rapid and 5 games of 960.
Ooh,
and my goal preparation was to move instantly every move because it was game 25. And so every game I was way ahead on the clock. And that was good prep because in game 25, if you have like 2 minutes, your opponent has 10, it's basically over. And I get in that situation a lot because I'm a slow player in these blitz things against these young guys. But I was able to play fast and do well. And so, of course, I didn't do as well as Hikaru. He played even faster than me. But I can't be 9.5 out of 10. I don't know why.
Yeah, it'd be hard to play.
Yeah.
It'd be hard.
And here we see, even though I liked White's position, maybe I still do. I don't. It's 7 minutes to 1. That's hard to overcome.
Right. Black's got
play
two
fast with
random
this time
pieces, a rook and a knight, putzing around, but somehow Keaton's going to need some more time to win this game.
Yeah, Black is just chilling and forcing White to do something with so little time on his clock. I still like White.
He goes for something. That's a good choice.
That situation's tough.
Why is he scared of coming out with his king? I don't understand. What? A rook and a knight can't checkmate you. Like, they literally cannot, in case anyone here is wondering. I don't just mean, like, you would have to really blunder.
If your knight's on F3 and your rook's on H2, you could get mated somehow in the corner.
Only if he runs towards the corner, which he's running to. If he goes king E2, there's... Right. I mean, there's just nothing that can go wrong with that. And in general, you want your king near your opponent's rook, because then you're always threatening to take him, right? Then you're threatening, like, bishop b5 or rook a4.
Well, he may have been worried about rook takes g3 in that situation.
Yeah.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
So we're getting into time trouble here, and like in the first match anyway.
All right, back to Hikaru. Some cool stuff going on here. So the pawn got gobbled on a5. He brought his knight out where we knew it wanted to be, and so White is forced into passivity defending this a pawn. Kicks the bishop. We knew he wanted that square for his knight, and then suddenly an extra detail. Instead of just sieging White's pawns, Hikaru runs forward really fast with this a pawn, and I guess he feels like he can support it all the way up here. Rook a1, rook a8, and then he keeps going. So he's trying to show this a pawn to be a real source of strength. I would have been afraid of sending it too far before I saw this.
Yeah, I think he's trying to distract White, and White has to decide, am I going to lose my d4 pawn, or is that pawn going to be too strong? And maybe if White puts a lot of pieces to attack that pawn, he can't defend his d pawn. It's a dangerous strategy, and as usual, Hikaru does it instantly, and he has pretty good instincts.
Right. He didn't have to think for like 3 minutes. Like, is it time to run the a pawn? He's like, boom, 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 boom.
One good thing about playing a3 is now the black rook has a4, which puts more pressure on the pawn on d4. Gives him a little extra square for his rook there.
Yeah. There's that.
Is this the biggest time advantage in the history of the Pro Chess League? I mean, this is a 15-minute game.
I think so. I think so.
Move 31 and he's used 2 minutes.
Wait, it looks like Gabusian hung his rook or something, and Keaton is down to 20 seconds, but that should be enough. Let's see what happens. He played rook b2, bishop d4 check, king h6, bishop takes b2. He keeps playing, but he's not really playing anymore. Only one of them's playing when you've got twice as many pieces. He still keeps going, allowing pawn takes bishop equals queen.
And he had tons of time. He was just playing fast in his opponent's time trouble.
That looked tilted.
He just moved instantly, hoping his opponent would blunder in time trouble, but he's the one who blundered.
All right, Titus.
Let that be a lesson to you.
Titus has finally blockaded this a pawn. So Hikaru piles up the defense on it, and we'll see what comes next. I guess it's going to be 4 more random maneuvering moves, and then Titus will flag without Hikaru ever demonstrating his master plan.
It's possible.
So we may miss out on that. Let's see how this... Not much progress in Mamedyarov's Dutch yet. He brought the knight to e4.
Quick, let's look at Hilby versus Tukopin. Because there's almost nothing on the board.
Oh, yeah. It's all been nommed.
The board's getting pretty empty over here.
Right. And if I count right, it looks like Hilby's aiming for a draw here out of whatever simplification just happened.
I think they're both aiming for a draw.
You think they're both...
I don't see how anybody could ever win.
Well, Stukopin's, kind of thinking, he played king e6 last time around in this position, defending his pawn. He wasn't yet ready to nom the last pawn.
Well, yeah, this looks pretty drawn.
Yeah. All right. Look, Titos hasn't moved now. He's down to 20 seconds.
Wow.
20 seconds. He had a minute 20 before, so maybe it's only 2 more maneuvering moves, not 4.
So, wow, 13 minutes to 13 seconds. That's the story of the game.
Well, there was such a funny comment in chat, Ben. This person should perhaps take over for me as the commentator, but he says, the guy's not even moving. He's just trying to fix his username on Chess.com because he's tired of us calling him Stradivarius. He's just like sending messages to support, like, fix my name. Is it that hard to make a C with a squiggle and 2 dots on the squiggle?
Maybe it is hard.
Maybe it is hard. All right, rook to b3 played. So with 13 seconds left, he's offering the first option for Hikaru to make this d pawn for a pawn trade, after which you could try to win the c pawn for free, but he has to calculate if he's really getting it or not. In fact, after knight d4, knight d4, rook d4, the bishop's hanging. So
yeah,
so that's definitely a tactic that would work out for black at the end.
Right. That he can't play bishop c1 because rook d1 check wins the bishop.
Right. So if we look at a second version of it, he saves the bishop, piles up on a3. A3 looks still dead. Rook d1, picking up the bishop. So I would guess that Hikaru could take on d4 here. But I think it goes against his plan of not doing anything decisive until the guys run out of time. But maybe 10 seconds is low enough that, you know, he can start playing things. You notice this is the first time Hikaru's really thinking, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, he's probably also looking at knight a5 and then knight c4.
Mm-hmm.
Just to tie him down a little bit.
Could be pretty painful too. But on knight a5, white will just trade off his bishop, right? He'll just say like...
Yeah, I couldn't see that it was a diagonal.
Yeah.
No, I expect knight takes d4.
I think his bishop is so limited, you forgot it could move at all. You just assumed it was sitting there waiting to get taken.
Because the thing is, like, if white couldn't move, I might just do nothing. But I think if I was white, I think I can play bishop c1 and attack that pawn. So, I mean, white has a plan.
Yeah. Huh. It's interesting. Hikaru's going deep on this. So I think once Hikaru plays...
he could also play knight b4, yeah?
Knight b4.
Ah, maybe he's thinking about that.
Yeah. Forcing the rook back. Then a2, threatening knight c2, then rook b2.
Yeah, he's thinking about that also. Wow.
Yeah. There's a couple things.
A cornucopia of great options.
Yeah. Whatever he chooses, he's going to have looked at it like 8 moves deep by the time he's done with this 3-minute think, and it's going to be it's going to be sad for Titus to go up against
Okay, it's Tukopin and Hilby did draw.
Okay. I'm going to switch over to a 10-second game for a second. We've got
I'm looking
Hevia.
At. Yeah, I'm looking at.
And Michael Brown. And somehow Michael Brown has infiltrated, and I guess it was at the cost of a piece, huh?
Down a piece, yeah.
That he got this nice active-looking position.
Yeah.
I don't know. This position's not so bad to play for black low on time, is it?
No justice, no pieces. Yeah. No, the bishop on e7 is still terrible, too.
Ooh,
That's
queen.
a terrible bishop.
Yeah. Queen trade. That's going to make it easier for white to get control of this. Oh, man.
No.
I'm going to call this over, man.
Yep, king f1,
7
very
seconds
good.
and down a knight and everything blockaded. That's it. We're not even going to watch him fail. We're just going to watch Hikaru win. All right, how did Hikaru win so fast?
You can do that.
Knight d4, he did it. Knight d4,
Hikaru
rook
won
d4.
by resignation.
White plays king g2, preparing bishop c1 by getting out of the check. And we weren't there, but I'm sure he played rook d2 instantly because he'd already planned this trap, and white resigned because of rook d2 a2.
Yep.
So Ben,
he resigns with 1 second left, just in the nick of time.
So Ben, we were saying that you had forgotten this bishop could move. You just expected it to sit there until it died in some tactic, and that is actually what happened.
Indeedly doodly. Michael Brown has 1 second, and he's down a piece, and he's in a lot of trouble. Yeah.
All right.
Bishop f5 mate.
Yep.
And he did it.
Boom. We made it just in time to see the mate.
Boom goes the dynamite. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, quick. Let's get Dreyev's game because he has 17 seconds to 10.
How are you doing, Dreyev?
Dreyev has a lot of passed pawns.
3 of them.
And the game's going to end this move, and it did.
How did you know it was going to end this move?
Well, rook d7, rook a1. So I didn't see what else white would do.
Good call.
Yeah,
nice calculation, Ben. Yeah. Very crisp. I'm going to show it to everybody.
Exactly.
See, black was threatening to take the pawn, and the only way to defend it is there, and then checkmate. Boom. So that is nice. Also, another resignation just in the nick of time. Camrath with 3 seconds here. Do you get 2 seconds back when you resign? I wonder.
That's correct. Well, maybe not.
So.
Maybe not.
All right, so that leaves us with Shakhriyar Mamedyarov leading the way for another powerful, super powerful looking hackers lineup here. The hackers, for those of you who didn't have the free time on the weekend, the hackers came out victorious in the 16-team melee that was Super Saturday. Ooh, Stopa offering a pawn sacrifice. Unless knight takes e2 isn't check, he is allowing Mamedyarov to grab a pawn and run. He'd rather be down his e pawn than take a doubled c pawn, huh?
I'm looking for compensation. I'll keep looking.
All right. Tell us when you find something.
I mean, you can double on the E file and play bishop G5. I guess he has compensation. So black could play. Maybe he can't play that. Yeah, I was going to play Queen A4 by
Queen A4 and then Queen C3 and then it's too fancy.
I'd change it. Yeah, too fancy.
And Mamedyarov knows all about getting your queen trapped like this, right? Because he did it to someone else this weekend. It's like,
is that what he did?
Yeah, somebody else got their queen trapped as black against Mamedyarov on A5 or A4 in about 17 moves on Super Saturday. So Mamedyarov won't make that same mistake.
Yeah, bishop D2 is pretty creative.
It is. He invested some time in it and he came up with something.
Yep. All right, let's look at Jeffrey Xiong versus Anthony He. It's the board 4, board 1 matchup.
Okay, before we do, just tell me.
Yeah.
Would you take the pawn if you were Mamedyarov?
Yes.
I would surely take the pawn.
Yeah. I would take the pawn, but don't call me Shirley. But yeah.
We'll come back and see what he does. Yeah. All right, so you wanted to see
Anthony He versus Jeffrey Xiong.
You wanted to see Jeffrey Xiong. The man that Hikaru will eventually clash with today.
Yeah, we were looking at Anthony He, and he was doing well like a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. Seattle's got
taking a long time this move.
Seattle's got a super lineup today, by the way, for anybody wondering about it. I mean, maybe I'll just show this to you guys for a second. There it is. Nakamura.
It's a tough lineup.
Then Petrosian, Tigran Petrosian. That guy is a very good speed chess player for their board 2. And then Fang and He, 2 like really strong young players. They're fast. They're dangerous. They can score upsets. I mean, I think this is what you want a top-heavy lineup to look like.
Average rating doesn't look too bad either.
Average rating over 2,500, another key factor when you want to win matches where your opponents are only allowed to field lineups up to 2,500. So,
yeah, Petrosian's an amazing board too.
Yeah. All right, so let's see what he or He, Anthony He, can do against America's young GM, Jeffrey Xiong.
Looks like Xiong has a good position, plus the time situation. The high-rated player always has more time somehow.
Yeah, so far, quite pleasant. This is a Najdorf gone pretty badly for white, I would
bishop
say.
D7, nice. He wants to go either A4 or B5.
Yeah.
That's a nice retreat.
Somehow white's queenside majority has become pretty bad. The D5 pawn blocks his own bishop and rook, and the position's really flexible and pleasant for black. You know, you can kingside attack with F4. You can bother white with bishops on G5 and B5 and A4, and you know, just keep chasing the white pieces, and some kind of tactic falls.
But I coached Anthony about 4 years ago in the World Youth, and he took my always play bishop F1 to heart.
Yeah.
So go Anthony.
You told him that how many times in one tournament?
I don't know, but it's looking tough around here. Bishop G5, anybody? I guess not.
Oof, Bishop
G5. Bishop G5 was too good.
It's like, that's not
He's
fair.
He's not allowed to play a move that crushes him so badly.
All right. You got to take his time. I mean, here he can always win the pawn on B2, but he goes to opposite colored bishops, but I think he could win that position.
I guess after Bishop G5, knight E3 is happening.
Yeah.
So it's not totally winning. But yeah, this is bad for white, bad on the clock also.
He can go bishop C4, rook C4, bishop takes A5 here, and he also comes out up a pawn.
That's nice.
Or bishop C4, rook B2, and he comes out up a pawn. So he's got a couple ways to win a queenside pawn. I would assume he'll go for one of those things. Bishop G5 is not bad either, because
I would play bishop G5 and take that knight on E3.
You trade on E3, weakening his king forever. Trade on F1. Now you've got a heavy piece endgame where you take on B2 and white's king is open. You would just do that. Simplest.
Yep.
It does. Yeah, it doesn't even give white time for queen A6.
He could also play F5, F4.
That's also hanging at the end. I think he's going to pluck a pawn. He's got 3 choices. Who's not going to take a pawn when there's 3 different pawns on offer? There's got to be something to please your palate.
Yeah, I mean, he played the first line you suggested, taking on C4 and taking on A5. And white has 10 seconds left.
Oh, that's not going to help him either here. I'm just going to click over for a second and see whether or not Mamedyarov took the pawn on E2. He did not. We were both wrong.
And Petrosian did win.
What did he do? He just played knight C3, pawn to F4. Mamedyarov's creative too. The bishop, if it comes to f4, lets his knight go free. So he opens the f file here, threatens bishop f5, and maybe queen h5. Wow, that was I wouldn't have seen that move on my candidate list. Not in a speed chess game. No way. So then he trades queens, and he's got a funky positional position.
A funky positional position. Well said.
He does.
Yep.
I would guess it's pretty close to equal so far. I don't know, though.
Luke Harmon Velati looks like he's doing down against Roland Feng. Dragon 1249 versus Velati Wizard. White has a lot of extra pawns. And both sides have about a minute, but White has a lot of extra pawns.
Velati Wizard. All right.
That seems like a mild upset there by rating.
It would be. It would be. But this is the kind of thing we can expect from Feng. Is like every now and then he can definitely score some points against higher rated opposition. So if we count the pawns, White's up 2.
At least. Yeah.
He has 2 connected pass pawns, which makes like it feel even better.
Yeah, it's definitely very good for Feng.
Minimal compensation at the moment. But 30 seconds each, you know, who knows? Let's see how Jeffrey's doing against Anthony He, because this is exactly what I thought would transpire, is when we get to an opposite-colored bishop position like this, the weakness of f2 is going to really help Jeffrey here. He's got to be looking at rook b2 here.
Yep. And he played it.
Yep. Now he's threatening e3, still attacking on the dark squares. Hey, that was pretty good to find rook e8 under duress.
Are you saying his name Hey or just Hey like hey?
I said hey. I should be saying Anthony He probably, but I don't know. So now he's going to think about a5. Nope.
Uh-oh, never play f3.
Simple. Well,
but he had to play it.
Yeah, it was that or king f3, f5, right?
Also not good.
Also not good.
Yeah, this ending's really bad for White. Yeah, here comes the a-pawn.
Here comes the a-pawn. All right. Jeffrey playing it a pretty simple way. 0 risk.
Rook e7. Some kind of queen check.
I wonder if you could play g5 as a pawn sack here. I mean, how good would a rook on f2 be? Is that worth a pawn?
Pretty good.
I think so, right?
Yeah.
Why not? And you've got access to f1 and f3, so you can also check him several times, which is also fun. Tell me g5's good. Not good. I was wrong.
Well, it might have been good, but sitting on him is good too. It's very hard for White to do anything. I think he wants to play knight d6 to f5, and then he has pressure on d4. Well, he's sort of forcing him to do it now.
Yeah, I was thinking he would go to f5 as well.
Yeah, because then you got to watch out for knight e3 later and watch your d-pawn. And also, Mamedyarov's probably going to play b5 and knight c4. That doesn't look good either.
No.
Wow, and that makes it even stronger. Yeah, now knight f5, everything looks good. Okay, he prevented rook c7.
Look at that calm. Look at that calmness. I mean, White can't play b5. He'll lose a pawn. And in fact, there's very little White can do that doesn't lose something. So this is sort of like a tough moment for White to pick their next move. That was a good one. Hey, if you had to move something, that was a good one.
Yeah, he got his rook off the squares where the knight could attack it and defend his d-pawn some more. Here comes b5, knight c4.
Yeah, I got to give him props for that. And you want your rooks on the squares that the bishop can't attack them, so his rooks are well placed.
But yeah,
rook c6 active. Go Jacek. That's some good defense right there. That is some good defense. This is where you know, most of us would crumble against Shak.
It's still difficult.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I mean, one of the difficulties is you have to come up with like 20 good moves like this, but I'm impressed so far.
Let's go over to Ostrovsky Naroditsky.
All right.
And it's easy to find their names.
Yep.
So Ostrovsky sacked a piece, and now he's trying to
Checkmate on
give
c7.
checkmate on c7 and take the queen. And very, very complicated position. I'm very confused.
Yeah.
You can't play queen takes b1 because queen c7's mate.
Right.
So yeah, this looks like, unless I'm wrong, Ostrovsky tricked him.
Let's just go back one move and just see what happened here. Rook b1. Danya took the pawn on c2. That's a risky looking pawn to take since he has an alternative in queen d4 right there.
Right, but I think Naroditsky thought he was tricking Ostrovsky.
But then he loses to queen takes, rook takes, knight d6 check. So he doesn't have the simple option. So he goes for queen c2, rook c1 happens, and now he plays bishop takes e4.
Yeah, he was playing for tricks there.
So he's playing for rook takes, bishop takes, and then this tactic. But even that feels like unlikely to succeed.
Rook d2.
Queen a7 played, rook d2. Yeah, that's what I was thinking he would go for.
Then queen a6 check, I assume.
Queen a6 check, he'll go to d8, I think, to limit the checks. Then on queen a8, he gets away to d7. And what he wants to do is when this rook on b1 gets saved, he's going to play rook e to e2, I'm guessing. And, threaten perpetual check.
Yeah, I thought after king d8 he might play queen f6 check. Well, we'll find out.
Yeah. And then he'll probably go back to c8. I mean, I don't think black can play for more than a draw here. Also, alternatives like...
because the white rook is so bad.
Yeah, but, I mean, keep in mind alternatives to king d8, like king b8, rook b4, mate in 1. So, like, he's not really in a position with this king to avoid perpetuals.
Yeah, maybe a draw is the right result here. Because if black gets the double rooks on the 7th or play b3, then white's playing with fire there.
Really a nice
White's rook on b1 just isn't playing.
Yeah.
Let's see.
All right, let's pop back to Mamedyarov for a second here. Somehow he traded his pawn structure a little bit. Rook. Right, he came to f6. I thought he might do this to counter the a6 pawn attack. And if rooks trade, he could even go ef and f5, right? Fixing his pawn structure. So instead, Stopa goes to c5, he comes to f5, and now we get that trade. Still nice for black.
A very nice position for black, but white hasn't crumbled yet. He's defending really well.
All right, so
hard to defend for so long.
So Ostrovsky takes the pawn on h6. If bishop takes b1, he's got queen g5 check and queen takes d2 winning. So Danya doubles the rooks, leaving everything hanging. Queen g5 check, moves his king. And now he's got bishop b1 and rook g2, but the queen could just trade.
Yeah, he's not going to play rook g2, but he's going to play b3.
So now he's really relying on the b pawn. Got it.
It's a pretty good pawn. Yeah.
That's a good pawn. If rook takes b4, there's always back rank mate. So that's why white doesn't have a lot of choices for what to do with this.
Yeah, I think both sides are trying to win, but maybe I'd rather have black here. There's back rank mate. There's the pass b pawn. The rook is no good. Very strange position.
By the way, San Diego won the first round narrowly, 2.5 to 1.5. And Seattle had a more comfortable 3-1 first round win. Big win. And presumably, Roland Fang's upset was kind of... It's hard to get a big win in round 1 because, your board 4 is going up against their board 1. 3 points is a good score in the first round. All right, so check, check, check goes Ostrovsky. Run, run, run goes the king.
Yeah, it looks like it might just be a draw because if white tries to win, b3's getting pretty strong there. I would want to draw if I was white. Black's position is just too good. Yeah.
Everything about it other than his king getting checked is pretty good.
Yeah. No, I mean, I know Naroditsky wants to win too, but if his king runs away to the b file, then rook takes b4 is check. So you got to be careful. And you can't block with a rook, then you have no counterplay. So it's sort of going to always just be this queen check.
Yeah, there's nothing he can do. He can never run away crossing the b file because rook b4 will almost always mate him if he ever moves his king to b7, b6, b8, or anything. I think we're getting near the end of this one. So let's pop back to... Oh, somebody just offered a draw probably on that game. So let's pop back to Shakhriyar. Bishops have been traded by Stopa. That's some accomplishment, but a
And he's
pawn.
catching up on time too.
But a pawn has been won by Mamedyarov, if I'm counting right, and that
You are counting right.
that would trump everything else that's happened. So let's see. Bishop e3. This was part of the point of d5. Was White was looking for a chance to get that bad bishop traded, but he just can't handle rook c2 to b2. It's just too active. So that was all that Mamedyarov really needed to do, was that rook penetrating to c2.
And he's sacrificing his extra pawn to try to promote his own pawn. The white king doesn't really have anywhere to hide. If you play knight e4, king e4, rook b1, I think just wins. I play b2 and I check.
Yeah, I used the old mating thing.
There's nowhere to hide.
And Shak has planned it. He didn't think which technique do I use to win this.
Play king d4 and rook d2.
King d4. Okay, that would be the only place to try and hide.
Then you're in Zugzwang. I'll play king f5.
Just played it.
Yeah,
King f5. Oh, didn't even. So he can play rook d2 and just give the f pawn. No, he does something else.
Whoa! Well, now b2 resigns.
Or rook check first and then b2.
Doesn't matter. Well, rook check king c3. No, rook. Oh, he plays king c3
king
either way.
King c3 either way.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, he forced him back for a second.
Yeah, so that was a mistake. Now White's okay. King c3, it should be a draw now.
Rook b6. Yeah.
Well, I would have played king c3, but okay. Now he has to play king c3. Principle. Okay, Black's still
now
better.
He's going to go rook to f1. Nope. Okay, so now he's got the white king cut, but he doesn't have...
Great defense by Stopa. He has drawing chance.
He's really hung in there. Man. Okay, so this rook's going to keep that king cut off. So it's going to be some work for White still.
And Ostrovsky and Nerditsky did draw. Looks like Christopher Yu can hold a draw against Kacyan, but Christopher Yu has 5 seconds left. That's harsh. At the end of the round, things get tough.
We can wonder if that's enough, huh? Christopher Yu, chess, playing against Melik. All right.
Yeah, can he draw this with 3 seconds left? Probably not.
I don't know. This would be
1 second. Yeah, it's tough.
This would be big for San Jose if they're really young. Board
this
4.
This is probably winning now. This has to be winning. Those pawns are too strong.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, Shak has won a pawn here.
Yeah,
that might be all he needs. Let's see. How did he get there? Okay, so the king was cut, and then at some point he transfers the rook to h6, and then just attacks all these pawns.
And Shak did win. Yep.
Sorry, they're playing really fast. I didn't get all the moves out exactly correctly, everybody, but took all the kingside pawns.
Okay, and Kacyan won a piece, and he just checkmated his opponent. Kacyan won.
At the same time, Kacyan wins. Okay, so Yu doesn't get the round 1 draw.
And the only person in time trouble is Wang Yui's game with Brandon Clark. It's 6.5 minutes to 1 minute.
Okay.
And Brandon Clark is trying to attack Wang Yui. That's not very nice.
Nope.
He's got all his pieces over at the king side, and Black's winning on the queen side.
Let me see.
And he's also winning on the clock.
I haven't found them yet because Hikaru just popped up for me. He's back.
Okay. Yeah, it's Clark versus
back in action.
He's back with a vengeance.
Oh yeah, I see B Clark versus Chess Y, Chess Wang Yue WY. He is trying to check
King H8. Wow.
He does have Queen F8 when needed. That'll be a pretty solid defensive move. I mean, Queen G2 is definitely threatening something. I feel a defensive move coming on.
Queen F8, as you predicted.
When your opponent's just threatening to checkmate you on G7,
and I can't play
one
Rook
way
C1
to defend
here?
G7, then
Why can't I play Rook C1?
Well, that's the problem. He thought for a while because Rook C1 could be an issue here. Rook C1, Knight to E3 is the variation. And we're not going to investigate it fuller because
you can't play Knight to E3 because I play Rook takes Rook and Bishop G7 check. I think he was going to take the Bishop on F6.
Okay, maybe he was. Now
he's giving him a tough time.
Yeah, definitely. Question if Black could play H6 at some point. giving his king, back rank loof, preparing rook takes f4, but he also has rook c2 to throw in the mix. My guess would be that somehow Wang Yue's got the advantage here, but it is complicated.
Man, Hikaru did it again. He's white in the same kind of structure you saw in the first game, and he played queen b2 to a3, attacking those hanging pawns. Wow.
It's a very important method among teachers, which is repetition, right? If you want people to learn that the queen is good on a certain square against the hanging pawns, you need to somehow play 4 games in a row using that same maneuver, and then everybody who watches Pro Chess League will know about this. So I think Hikaru, by being so thematic, is really he's just trying to be a good teacher.
Exactly.
And his threat here is to play bishop takes d7. The knight can't take because of the bishop and the queen. So it would go like bishop takes knight, queen takes knight. And then I guess rook c5, bishop f8 may or may not work.
Always play bishop f8.
Yeah, I don't know if that would actually work. So he may or may not have that threat. That's for Javakadze to figure out for himself.
Let's see. Is anybody losing on time yet? The only person in really bad time trouble that I see is Clark.
Okay.
Let's
see, I got a game between Smirnov and Xiang Yu here. Board 2 for the Kangaroos against a higher rated board 3 for the Pandas. And materials equal, pieces are pretty close to equal, space is pretty close to equal. Probably just a tiny, tiny advantage for white. Right or wrong?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah. I'd probably rather have white, although it might just be equal. Yeah. And also, black has a nice time advantage.
That's really what a slight advantage means, right? It means the position's basically drawn pretty close to equal, but like if you ask 10 grandmasters who do they want to play, they're like, I would prefer to play white.
I once asked Shabalov if he liked white or black.
Yeah.
And he said, what does that guy think? He was pointing to Dmitry Gurevich. He just wanted to say the opposite. So whatever Dmitry said, he's like the opposite. So he needed to know what the other guy thought first.
Right.
Okay. And he played f4. He wants to get the d4 square for his knight. Makes sense.
All right.
And the white's slightly better. You're right.
Yeah. Surprise, right? So back to Hikaru. Look he's repeating every maneuver for us. It's always just like a theme day. Knight back to b1, defending his queen, preparing bishop takes d7.
Our esteemed commissioner, Greg Shahadi, will be very pleased about the move knight b1. If you remember a few years ago, he wrote an article, Knight b1 exclam.
Oh.
This could be in part 2 of his article.
Cool. He's got 2 examples already from Hikaru today where this knight comes to b1 with great effect. The rook had to move off of the threat of bishop takes knight on f6, which was winning. And now I don't think bishop takes d7 wins because queen.
Yeah, I'm looking at bishop d7, queen a3, bishop c8, queen b4, and then I gave up.
Wait, sorry, what are you looking at?
Bishop takes d7, queen takes a3, bishop takes c8. Trying to win the b7 bishop also, but queen b4 shattered my dreams.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he can play that position. He gets the pawn on c5 at the end, but I don't think he's in any need to do that, so. It's funny, the second time around it's taking Hikaru longer to find queen to a3 and knight b1 than it took him the first time.
I'm not sure what he does now. This could backfire because I'm not sure what white's next move is.
The bishop on a4 is kind of committed.
Yeah, that's a strange square for the bishop.
It's like not so many things it could do other than trade for
He made a big decision after the move a6 on move 15. He played bishop a4 and his bishop sort of stuck there. But as we said, Hikaru likes knights, so he might just trade bishop for knights and play against those hanging pawns. And that's what he did.
Yeah. I think he figured if that knight moved off of d7, the bishop on a4 would really be out of business. So.
Yep, knight c4.
Here he gets his pieces back in.
Here comes the knights against the bishops.
Like you said before. So, and again, this kind of like pin allowing a knight to come through this square. Greg says the funny thing is Hikaru once had a game where he missed knight to b1 against Wang Yue. So I guess he's making up for it today. Greg's on top of all the knight b1 games in all of history. All right, so he's threatening knight b6, maybe knight to a5 is another place he could house this knight if he needs, if he just needs any old stable.
It's good that I say Hikaru likes knights as much as bishops. Then the next game he has 2 knights against 2 bishops.
Yeah. So here knight b6 would be the primary threat.
And Wang Yue did win in very nice fashion against Brandon Clark by taking all of his pieces and winning on time. That wasn't very nice.
That's thorough.
It's almost stalemates. It's pretty bad.
Let's see it real quick. We were
Really
around
bad
here.
position.
Rook c2, as we expected. Queen moves. All right, so he got his rook in, and then the knight goes back to pressuring the center. Just takes the pawn on d4 for free. Okay. Takes the bishop on f6 for free. All for this queen h6 tactic. That was exciting. And almost winning on the spot.
He's playing for the move of the week.
If queen f7, rook g7. So that's nice. Unfortunately, rook h2, that diffuses things. If the king takes, queen h6 is lights out. So the queen retreats. He takes the other center pawn. And now he can't go back to h6 ever because of queen h6 counter check. So he's lost his main idea. Trades on e5, knight comes into f3, and
that could have gone either way, but
White comes out with the queen against rook and knight. This is not at all. This is not at all easy for Wang Yue. But I guess
knight looks pretty good.
I guess with 2 pawns, he always had the better of this.
Looks pretty good.
All right. So what's Hikaru up to? He's got his knight into b6. Rook shuffles back. d5 and c5 are defended for the moment. Attacks it again. That knight just moved from a3 to a4. The pawns are like, I could have done that so much easier than you. So next up, knight to d4, just to show him all the pins he's got.
Yeah, he keeps putting the pressure on.
Or maybe just, is b4 any good? b4, c4, a3. I don't know. I think he's going to want to gang up on this more. I don't think he's going to just... I don't think he's just going to play b4 yet.
I think he wants to play knight to d3 and attack that pawn again.
He might go knight e5 to d3. He could double rooks first.
He went to d2. He wants to play knight b1 again? I don't know.
He's like, I don't think they learned it yet. I could win more quickly, but I don't think they got this knight b1 yet.
No, knight d2, I think he was stopping c4 forever. And now he can double his rooks on the c file. Yeah, it's funny. I like white here, even though black has the 2 bishops and the nice center pawns. It seems like he's just defending.
Yep. Well, getting ready for rook c1 and rook c8. We'll see how that changes the balance of power. First round results in as well. 2.5, 1.5. The Chengdu Pandas slightly up on
against the Kangaroos.
And that's thanks to a draw between Smirnov. The game that we said was slightly better, / equal, / it would be a draw, / we'd rather be white, ended in an actual draw eventually. And the San Jose Hackers lost the first round 1.5, 2.5 to the Desert Rats with their amazing lineup.
Yeah, I mean, Mamedyarov and Naroditsky, and that's not enough. It's not enough.
So we saw Mamedyarov win. Who got their other half point? I guess we saw Chris Yu lose on board 4, which is sort of, expected.
Yeah, I mean, Naroditsky got a draw, right? So they must have won the bottom 2 boards, Vegas.
That's it. Man. So the Super Saturday champions are going to have to show their ability to win normal matches too.
Well, talk about positional domination. Petrosian versus Strema Va something dark side.
Yep. Strema Vasius.
Talk about positional domination.
Oh my goodness, that rook is unparalleled.
Goodness had nothing to do with it.
Jeez.
Rook b7.
This is like some learning game from Alyekin from long ago, right? Where he beat this Stonewall Dutch setup with the open c file, and eventually moves his king into like e5 and creates some Zugzwang. It's like the most beautiful game. And he retreats. Not what you or I were rooting for.
Always retreat.
What? Okay, I guess it's what you were rooting for. Nobody else, though. I thought you wanted rook b7.
I did want rook b7. Yeah. Okay. I guess bishop c6 was annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, the moves that you want to play each had something annoying about them. Rook a c1, there was knight c4. And rook b7, there was bishop c6. So all the simple things you would want to do were not so simple.
It's never easy.
So knight c5. Stremavicius defends the e6 pawn, but what's Tigran going to do next? Break with pawn to e4. He's going f3, e4.
Can we go over to the games Stukopa and Kirwa, and can you explain it to me?
Sure, why not?
Thank you. I need somebody to help me with this position.
Here we've got Andrei Stukopa.
I don't get paid enough to analyze this position. Everything's attacked and pinned. Everything.
That is true. Especially that bishop on b5. The bishop on b5 is in a really bad way.
Well, the queen on g5 is hanging. The bishop on d4 is pinned. The pawn on d7 is a monster. The e7 pawn's hanging. And material's equal.
Yeah.
What's happening?
So, rook e5. Of course.
Wow.
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Now if he plays knight e4, I quit. Okay, good. I didn't have to quit.
Yeah.
So queen b3.
But he still won't move that bishop.
So he can't play rook c1 because the queen's on g5.
Yeah.
I'm still confused as to who's better.
Yeah,
I don't understand this position.
It's certainly mildly complicated.
I think black is better. I think the deep one's weak. I think the bishop's hanging. I think the king on f1's bad. I think black's just winning here.
But white has their trumps as well.
Well, no, I think this is good for black.
Okay.
I think Kirwa's going to do it again.
Okay. How about...
Yeah.
How about...
Yeah.
How about...
Yeah. How about what? Yeah, I don't like this position. It's all hanging. White kept hanging all of his pieces.
Rook to some... Nope, doesn't work. Hang on. Okay, I don't know.
Didn't Kirwa win an upset the last round? Didn't he beat a higher rated player?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so I think it was a GM. That's the guy who hung rook b2, bishop d4 check.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, 2-0. That's a good start. And he beat me last year in the.
Well, he's not 2-0 yet. Stukopan still has some winning move that we just haven't found.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at bishop takes a6, rook takes d7, and I don't like that for white.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
maybe queen b1 check is better.
I hear your skepticism.
Yeah,
I hear your skepticism.
Knight h7. Well, knight h7 is not good.
Every single thing hanging.
Yeah. Yeah, white's king's on f1 to boot. That's not good. Wow. I was really confused when I started looking at the game, but now I'm getting some clarity here. This just looks good for black.
Does it? Does it? There. That's a good move that you didn't see.
Rook e2.
Yeah.
Well, let's see.
Queen b1, rook e1, etc.
c1 winning a piece. That's better.
All right. Yeah, technically, it was Kira who refuted it first, not you.
Yeah. No, I saw him play it. I wouldn't have seen it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's winning a piece and trading all the pieces off.
That's pretty nice. Solid. All right. I no longer expect Stukopan to pull a rabbit out of this hat. Let's say Kira starts 2-0.
Wow.
Beats both Rio Grande GMs, and I would be surprised if that doesn't put the Surfers in a
I don't feel so bad
position.
About losing to him with white last year. I feel better.
As the Ospreys. Okay. All right, so back to Nakamura. Let's see how he's working it.
And I got a game to go to after this. If I could find Nakamura's game, which I can't. It's too easy.
It's okay. Nothing major has changed. He gained some space with f4 because black's
C4.
king had taken some space.
c4.
The black king gained some space. He tried to push him back. Now black's playing c4. He's ready to open up those bishops. He's got bishop b4 coming.
No, black's playing well.
Harassment.
Hikaru's only up 3.5 minutes on the clock.
That
Amazing.
is almost minimal by Hikaru standards.
Exactly. I want to look at Mamedyarov's game because his opponent's trying to checkmate him.
I've been
It's
wanting
giving
to.
me good memories of last year. Mamedyarov Ostrovsky.
All right, let's find it.
I like Ostrovsky's position. He has this bishop on a7, knight on f4, queen on f5, pawn on e4. This looks like Mamedyarov's black. Knight d3 is somewhat of a threat.
Right.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
Bishop f2 check is probably winning also.
Good point.
I think knight h3 check wins, then queen f2. So we have some threats here. This is serious.
Knight h3 check. That's a cool one. I'm going to show everyone that with rook b1 for a second. Knight h3.
Yeah.
Queen comes over. Queen f2. King to h2. Queen g1. King
Man,
to
this
g3.
doesn't look good for white.
And then some kind of a manhunt, right?
Yeah.
Bishop f2. King f4.
Yeah, this looks like Mamedyarov should be black here, not his opponent.
Yeah. And it's not over yet, but it is winning. I mean, he could go bishop e1, rook e1, queen f2 there. That's good enough to convince.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
In my
pretty
high
good.
school chess club, we would have called this winning at least everything. That was our phrase for something like that.
At a minimum.
At a
yeah.
minimum, winning everything.
No, but that's just like
the
one
king,
threat.
several of
There's
his pieces.
There's knight d3, bishop
Yeah.
f2. These are serious threats.
Okay, well, note that Ostrovsky is also the guy who put the Desert Rats in their lead in the first round because he got that draw off of Naroditsky in the crazy game we saw. So if he's able to mess with Mamedyarov,
He's messing with him here. This is tough.
then that could make it really hard for the hackers. I mean, if Ostrovsky's just going to be 2,800 today.
I would want to have white here. I don't know what I would do. Okay, knight e3.
93. I mean, you got to do. I don't know what else there was. It was the only candidate move I had in my head.
Yeah, but
Was blocking that bishop.
is it possible that black's not going to play knight d3 soon?
I mean,
D3
knight
is gonna crush.
d3, knight f5. So he's gonna have to play something
No,
else
I mean
first.
soon, not now. Like queen g5, threatening. Bishop takes e3, winning. Okay, now bishop takes e3 is
Good
winning.
call.
Knight takes h3 is winning. Knight d3 is winning.
Threat.
I mean,
All right.
this looks like it's over.
The threats continue. It looks like it's over.
I mean,
That
this
is
is just
accurate.
terrible.
That is accurate.
This is terrible.
Pawn to g3.
Bishop f6, always trade.
Now,
What do you
what's
do
he
on
playing on
bishop
bishop
E3?
e3?
I don't know. I resign.
Probably
I don't know.
playing g3 then.
G3, queen g3, dude.
Yeah, that's not very good at
No,
all.
resigns is the only move. There's no other move.
Okay, he's played
has to
bishop takes
resign.
e3 quickly. Ostrovsky's got some
Oh,
confidence.
he has to resign. He just didn't. I mean,
I would never play bishop e3 instantly against Shak.
oh, I would. Wow, bishop e3.
No. If I were really confident, I would sit there and enjoy the moment. If I were
Yeah.
not totally confident, I would double check before I was like, this 2,800 just hung mate.
Well, he has to resign here. Yeah.
Okay.
That's amazing. He beat him quickly too. Wow, and played faster than Shaq.
That's brutal. 20 moves with black against Shaq?
When was
What?
the last time somebody just checkmated Shaq with black? Oh yeah, that's right.
In 20
Wow.
moves.
No, it was like 30, but
In
yeah.
30. Okay.
Wow. That's just crazy. Wow.
What on earth?
I'm
Joko
glad I picked
Piano.
that game because I really like black. And I actually, when I saw the position, I knew Shaq was playing. I just assumed Shaq was black. And I was like, wait a minute. Shaq has white here?
I'm
This
just
looks
blitzing
terrible.
through some normal moves, and it seems like White maybe overplayed his hand a little bit on move 16 with d5, sort of gaining space, but leaving this bishop on a7 so good.
And Kirwa did win that.
So c6 by Ostrovsky. That was nice. I mean, he took his time, and then he exploded onto the scene with e4, knight f4.
That game where Petrosian was squeezing and he played rook c2, somehow he's up a piece. His opponent resigned. So he won a piece somehow pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So that was a crush. Hikaru's still trying to squeeze. He's still got the two knights
Yeah,
against
the
the two
Hikaru
bishops.
position's pretty
But he's
pretty
catching up
darn
on
interesting.
time. Time's almost equal.
But San Jose Hackers, they're going to be in a really, really tough position. I mean, how are they going to win a match when not only is
every time I'm
Ostrovsky
like, man,
winning,
San Jose looks good.
but
And then,
Shaq is losing? So we saw c4, he trades it, rook comes in, kicks the knight, rook c3. The knight on b6 is kind of a wanderer now. And that's where we're at. Still two knights against two bishops. This is
the
this is
time
the
is
ultimate
pretty
takedown.
equal considering usually Hikaru's up 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Zhang is going to win very quickly, so you better hurry. Jeffrey Zhang, Roland Feng.
I don't
Jeffrey
know if I
X,
can get there
Dragon
in time. Let's see.
1249. I don't know if you'll get there in time.
I got there. Bishop d6 was played. Some double checks are
Here
possible.
comes
and
this.
resignation.
You just got there. Good job. Yeah, that queen on a5 was not a happy queen.
We're a good team. He served it up for us.
Yeah, that was going to get crushed pretty quick.
Okay, so Feng, he was the hero round 1 for the Sluggers. Got them their 3-1 lead, but things aren't going to be as easy. He's not going to just win every game like Cura today. Still, the Sluggers up 4-2 right now with Hikaru still in the lineup, so still in a comfortable position in this match.
What is that? Their score is fortuitous? It looks like it, yeah.
Yep, for all those trying to win. All right, so now Javakadze is starting to have a pretty good position, if you ask me. I mean, I'm starting to see ideas like bishop c5, rook takes e3. Like, I don't know. It's also one of those positions where you can just randomly sack an exchange and then have the bishop pair and a pawn fight against some poor knight. He's got bishop a6 at some point.
Bishop c3 is a serious threat.
I'm preferring black, so I guess when Hikaru's only up 1 minute, it's Hikaru's version of like he's down 8 minutes because his position's not going the way he wants it, huh?
No, I mean, black played really well to stop the onslaught against his hanging pawns, and now he's activated his bishops and his rooks. So now, it doesn't look good for white.
Now, if Javakadze could somehow miraculously, or not miraculously, if he could, play a genius game and knock out Hikaru, then this round would be a loss for Hikaru and Mamedyarov. Wow. Which has never happened since round 8 of Super Saturday 2 games ago. When they went into the last round leading on board 1 with 6 out of 7 and both lost. Not Hikaru
the Pro Chess League is tough. Everybody's trying to beat you.
But one thing I want to say about Javakadze, because it's worth introducing somebody, a moment before they topple a 2800. Javakadze, if I'm not mistaken, had some incredible record his first match here. Let's see if I can find it. Players. We're going to search for Javakadze. Nope. I was thinking of someone else. He hasn't played yet. Never mind.
Never mind.
Somebody who shares a name with him. All right. So
Hikaru got doubled knights on the B file.
He's doubled his knights.
Making
it hard to find squares for the pieces.
Yes, I was hoping for bishop b8.
Were you?
Quadrupling on the B file.
Quadrupling. Oh, you've
never seen that structure? I've never seen it. I've never seen those knights and those bishops like that.
You just want a screen grab. All right,
First
everybody.
time in my life. Yeah,
take
take
a screenshot for Ben.
Yeah, I haven't seen that before. Yeah, that's great.
I thought he was just going to b4, but that would have been 2 bishops sandwiching the knights. That's not bad.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It's a sandwich. Don't you like sandwiches, Ben?
Yep. Let's see. Can I say what I want to say? No, I guess not.
No.
That was close. Danny Wrench would have said it.
You like vegetarian sandwiches.
Danny Wrench would have said it. Yeah. See, Danny Wrench after bishop b4 would have said Oreo sandwich, but I'm not saying that.
Right.
Yeah. But he would have said it. Yeah.
Bishops on the outside, knights on the inside.
There you go. Yep. Knight d4. Don't I have tactical tricks? I guess if I play them, I don't win enough. Yeah, you got to keep those bishops.
He didn't do a tactical trick. Why was he not winning with some version of bishop a7 there?
Yeah, there's some tactics that may or may not work.
The superfine hipster offers a draw. He says, Hikaru, I know my position's good. I'm not trying to beat you, so I offer you a draw.
Did he offer a draw?
Yeah, he just offered a draw.
Wait, who offered a draw?
The superfine hipster, Javakadze.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be declined. Okay, well, let's go to Vladi Wizard versus Reigning Winning, because Vladi has 17 seconds, and it's a very unusual Sicilian with all kinds of attacking.
2 knights against a rook.
And both kings are suspicious. King f8.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to defend yourself. All right, White's main plan is to play d4, and he just played rook d1, so he knows all about it.
Rook h3.
All right, queen g2. No!
Queen g1. Wow.
No!
You don't like that?
No, because knights are worse in the endgame, and you've got 2 of them, so play a middle game.
Queen b7.
Fail. Come on, man.
Well, he stopped d4. You were like d4. He stopped it.
I guess so. He didn't. Did he really stop it? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, because queen takes e4 check.
I mean, I'm not sure that would be good for him.
Okay.
but I guess probably he could then trade on b3 a couple times. Yeah. All right, so queen f2, not sure what that does.
Queen a8, cool.
Yeah. Very cool. Rook g1.
It's so hard to play white here with 9 seconds. You just got to make a random move every time and hope you don't miss something.
Right. You would want a couple more seconds to play better random moves. Slightly better random moves.
The crowd wants rook takes a2. We don't care how bad it is.
Let's see. Is the crowd? Nope. But somebody in the crowd did take a picture for you of the B file. So.
Oh, yeah, that was a pretty cool B file. So we got 39 seconds versus 9 seconds. F6. Never play F6. No.
Well, he's trying to just block the star squared bishop. I think F6 is often good in such a position.
Now
it's rook A6.
I coached him and he played F6. No.
Oh, yeah, but the problem is now queen C7 actually hits G7 as well as D6. Because
Never
previously
play F6.
on queen B6, rook A6 was fine. Now it's a little trickier after queen C7.
He played queen B4. White has 7 seconds left to 24.
I can't imagine why he didn't go to C7.
Well, he does have 5 seconds left.
So you think that might be the reason?
It's tough. Man, 4, 3,
Threatening rook A2 now.
2, 1 second, and he played king C2. Wow, king C2.
Well, he had to stop rook A2, so he unpinned. He's going to go back.
C6,
No, he can't go back.
C3.
I guess.
It's looking real dangerous for white.
Yep. Now everybody's... Now they can't decide who's trying to explode the center more.
Well, this should be winning for black. I just don't know how.
What?
Just don't know how.
I don't know.
Queen C6, rook C2.
That's risky. That's some C file.
Wow,
not
they're
so
playing
good.
so fast because they have to.
Yep.
D4 was finally played.
Finally got it. It's the beginning of the end for one of them.
Exactly. Doesn't look good for white. It's king. So rook H3. Rook H3.
Yeah,
No,
rook H3
rook
is
H3,
solid.
rook H3.
Solid move.
Rook H3 was good for black.
Yeah, it was.
I guarantee it. It's tough having no time on your clock.
It is tough.
Let's see. Queen C4 check. Okay, I got one move right.
King H7. This is still messy. The knights have just never been good this game. Honestly, they are underperforming. Wait, Hikaru and Superfine Hipster we should watch too. They're also down to 10 seconds.
Wow.
Sorry, Hikaru gets precedence. All right.
Yep.
He's got rook and knight against rook and bishop.
And you said the rook and knight never checkmate, so black should be doing okay.
By themselves, they can't. No.
That F
But
pawn might
with
help.
the F pawn, it could be a
Might
different
help.
story. Knight H7.
Bishop
F6,
C5 checks.
F7.
You got to watch that.
We do. That's
Be
how.
careful.
That's how one GM already bit the dust today.
Yep.
So black's plan is to go H4, H3, and just let the knight perpetual check him at some point. Knight E4. Ooh, he's like, I left my rook there. Want to play bishop C5? No thanks. I'll go to E3. Sorry, Hikaru sees that stuff. Coming to a new square. All right, the rook's got to cover the knight, taking his bishop on F4. All right, into the corner.
Yeah, this looks like it should be a draw, but since both sides have no time, all 3 results are possible.
Certainly are.
But it has to be a draw.
Thrilling.
With correct play.
Now,
with correct play.
Now Anthony Hay, by the way, has
Anthony,
exactly the same
pieces.
8 seconds
Down 2
that
pieces.
Vlade has.
Wow. And Vlade wins.
And
wow.
Vlade wins. Anything can happen.
Man,
All right.
And Anthony could have played rook H3 and won his opponent's queen.
Can you believe Hikaru on 20 seconds? I don't know that if I've ever seen this other than the time that he ran down his clock on purpose instead of resigning from 8 minutes to 0 seconds. And Javakadze takes off the last pawn and will defend rook versus rook and knight.
Well, yeah, but the rook's on A1, so that's not good.
No?
Yeah.
Can he just
Well, I mean,
hold it?
it's a
Can he
draw
just
anyway.
hold it like this?
It's a draw anyway, but with the rook on A1, that's tough.
I mean, white could eventually bring his king to B2, take
Oh,
on
he'll
A2 with
win
the knight,
pawn.
bring his
he'll
rook
take the
out,
pawn, knight A3
then
and
keep
take it.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's still going to have to defend this thing. There's no free lunches when you play Naka.
It's not a difficult defense, so I expect him to draw.
All right.
Now black's playing for the win, going for the mate.
I'm going to bet 10% on Hikaru winning somehow. That means 90% I agree that it'll be a draw.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to win when your king's on A2 and you can't leave the A file.
You keep complaining. You keep complaining about the dumb pieces on the A file.
He won in 1 second after I said it. The guy walked into a fork. Yeah, you always put your king and rook on different colors. That way you never walk into a fork. You have to have and he had his king on a white square and his rook on a dark square, and he moved his king to a dark square. Unbelievable. Well, he made it to move 100, so that was good. That was important. Very suspicious.
Ouch.
Okay, and
all right. I was 10% right there, Ben. 10%
at least 10%
right.
minimum. You were like 11% right.
All right, let's see what else we got here. Other games of interest. Got the Surfers match going on. That's the only match I'm seeing right now is the Surfers. Oh,
I see a couple of matches, but I only see one match where there's in time trouble. So Melik and Kavutsky both are in time trouble. Looks really good for Melik. That black king is no good.
Yeah, that black king is in a spot of trouble.
Yeah. And black has
material still equal.
Material, yeah, but white has a king and black doesn't. So maybe we're going to see a rook and knight mate this game with the help of the A5 pawn.
Or the H3 pawn. It could go both ways, but Melik's getting his king out of there. Okay. Seems interesting. The score in this match right now, 3.5, 2.5 in favor of the Desert Rats. So they got a 1-point lead on the Hackers. The Hackers must have somebody else playing for them right now, in addition to Hello Kostya. Who else do they have? They've got Chess. Uh-oh, that's their board 4. That's not what you want. And he's got 5 seconds left. That's not what you want.
5 seconds isn't good.
They are not expected to come roaring back this round if it's their 3rd and 4th board still playing against 2 GMs. Chris Yu dropping his first pawn, but not his last pawn. This is the kind of position where once white gets 1, he gets a lot. He gets a lot.
No, it's not good. The time situation is not palatable.
King G1. Sort of a nice looking move. But now rook D2 and rook E1 to get some kind of counterplay. I don't think that's right. I think you got to take the E3 pawn. Well, I guess it doesn't matter, though.
2 seconds left.
You guys don't be criticizing on Javikadze too much. I mean, he was playing against Hikaru. He had a couple seconds on the clock. He was under some pressure.
Who are we going to criticize? We got to criticize somebody. Yeah. No, I mean, he played a really nice game, and he got an easily drawn position. But
yeah,
I move 100 with 11 seconds left with a lot of pressure. It's not easy.
Right.
And Christopher made a move with 1 second left.
Yeah.
And yeah, technically lost endgame.
Technically lost. Time. So let's see how Kostya's doing. This rook and knight is going to be a little bit more interesting than the pure rook ending we're seeing there. Oh, it also transposes to a pure rook ending. Thanks. He's considering taking on f4 because the knight's trapped, right? Like he wants to play rook takes f4. Not pawn takes f4 because rook g8 would be really bad. So he wants to do this. And he was just checking, rook c8. What's he going to do there? That's why he was thinking
c4 here.
Yeah, but then there's
you should play c4.
Yeah, c4.
Yeah, it looks really good for Melik.
Well, it's not over though, right? Because like c4, rook e8, king g1, rook e2.
Yeah, that's not over.
Right?
Yeah.
That still keeps some struggle for white. He got his pawn, but he has to get his king sort of trapped on g1 to get it. I think d5, c5 doesn't help black, so this is the best chance, rook e8. Yeah.
Well, Brandon Clark has a great position against Zhu Wenjun, but he has a bad time situation.
He could also go
really outplaying her.
He could also go rook e1 here, just force the issue a little bit. Rook e1, if king f2, rook h1, right? So rook e1, rook f1, rook e2. Yeah.
He'll probably play king f2, then if rook h1, he'll play g4.
Right.
And then king g3, and
And then
white's
rook
better there
b2.
too. But black has drawing chances.
Well, black has rook b2 to b4. I think it's not ultra
Well, my
clear yet.
g-pawn's pretty strong.
The g-pawn is pretty darn strong.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. In fact,
Yeah,
I
now
don't know
rook
how
f2, I assume. You could also play rook d4.
Yeah.
Could play
Everything
b5.
other than g5.
Actually, b5 is the right move, I think.
The only bad move is g5 here.
No, the right move is b5. Because then he... Well, actually, no, you could take, and there's no mating. You have a6. Okay,
Right.
take it back.
Yeah, you don't want to play b5 actually at all, right?
Take it back.
The pawn trade helps black.
Yep.
So rook f2 seems like a pretty good one.
Yeah, he played rook d4.
Oh, he did already. Sorry. Rook d4.
Well, both sides have less than a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
But unfortunately, Kostya has a lot less than a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Chess has 3 seconds, and it's rook and 2 against rook. So that's not good. So Christopher Yu's going to...
Hikaru's playing another really fast opening. The game has just started.
Shocking.
But he and Vladi Wizard are
Wow.
are blitzing it out. Blitzing it out.
What opening is this?
And
it's one of those funny Berlins where white plays funny.
Looks like he didn't get his queen to a6 in time this game.
Exactly.
Berlin,
well, he played queen
Berlin,
b6, but then white took it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I kind of like this position for black a little bit. Seems like a slightly nice bishop pair.
Yeah, okay. Kostya's completely drawing now against Malik. It's a dead draw.
Well done, Kostya. Your
Dead
hackers
draw.
needed that.
Wow, very nice.
Hackers needed
With
that.
no time on his clock, he's going to draw.
You know what the problem is? He played the b5 move you suggested. That's the problem. No offense, but that's the problem. Immediately after we were watching, white played b5.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he just got to make a trade once, and now, yeah, things just get traded.
Mm-hmm.
While the black king was getting out. So we'll see if Kachin can swindle him somehow, but he can just play d3. And now king c2. Yeah.
That game's not over yet?
Nope,
Okay.
it's not over yet, but it's over. Rook takes d3, rook takes g7, Malik offers a draw, Kostya accepts.
Mm-hmm.
Chess lost, so the Vegas...
he declines the draw with rook takes. Very nice.
So the Vegas Desert Rats
And
will
now
have a
he's-
5-3 2-point advantage halfway through this.
Amazing.
All right. Hikaru goes g6. Interesting. Not an obvious move. And I guess Luke wants to put a piece on c5, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and Hikaru has the bishops here. Hikaru likes to have the knights. Must be confused.
Yeah. I think I'm confusing myself with some other guy. All right. The bishop comes out. Funky. I do not know what is coming next. What? He just trades it. I thought if he was going to trade it, he would have played king d7.
Well, was there knight b6 check?
There was a bishop on b6.
Then there wasn't. Yeah. Well, then I could play bishop c5. Then you could play bishop takes a4. Complicated. Yeah. It is a strange way to do it. But black does have a passed pawn. And I'd rather have black here, but I assume with proper play it should be a draw.
Okay. We're not going to assume proper play, though.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dreyev is behind on time against Gabuzian here. It's a big matchup for the Surfers, who so far are 2 points ahead on the Rio Grande Ospreys. So let's see what Dreyev's up to. Looks like he got some kind of a Karo Khan advanced variation or something.
It's amazing. In the first 3 matches, the score's 5-3 in all 3 matches. And the last match, it's only 3.5, 1.5. They have a ways to catch up.
They've got some games to go.
And Yu Yang-yi can't play a 100-move game to finish it because he's not playing today.
That's right. They're going to have to use other methods. So, all minor pieces here in Dreyev's game. White just got the A file, which seems pretty nice. So I think White's actually better, even though
Oh yeah, I like White.
Even though I don't really like the advanced variation.
I like White, and I like White's 7-minute timing advantage as well.
Yeah. Oh, he's going for bishop b3 to c4 to deal with this A pawn that's kind of costing him. That's why he did this whole bishop c2 thing. Because that A pawn's annoying. That's the reason he can't play moves like queen a8, because after a queen trade, knight trade, then the bishop on f1. Gosh, bishop f1 again, huh? Okay.
Always play bishop f1. This looks terrible for black.
Okay, so he's coming to c4, but by the time he gets there, White's going to have a queen on a7 and like a bishop on d6. And
yeah, I like bishop e2 forcing at g6.
That was evil. That's really evil because, okay, so everybody, the point is if bishop c4, he grabs that pawn. If g6, he'll still make that bishop trade on c4 at some point if needed, but g6 will give him the option of bishop e7 to f6 at some point.
Yeah.
And then there's always a mating net on this king. That is a super sick move.
This is just terrible for black. Yeah, this is a losing position.
Did he have to trade off rooks on a1 back here on move 31? This might have been not what he wanted. Yeah, I don't think he absolutely needed to. This simplification didn't really work out for him. Okay, h4. That was a good choice by Dreyev. Better to lose that pawn than to play g6. Much better.
Yeah, I agree with that. See, he's not going to trade bishops. He'll play bishop h5 and force g6 anyway.
Yeah.
You can't stop him. He's going to play g6.
Can't stop me.
No, I mean, that queen and knight on c8 and c7 are just terrible.
Yeah, they are bad. Oh, man. But see, on bishop h5, he can go queen to a8, maybe. Maybe?
Yeah, I was looking at queen a6 and queen a8.
Yeah.
After queen
that
a8,
might be his out, right?
Can I play bishop takes f7 check?
You could.
Yeah, but maybe you could just take it and move your king back, and you still have this counterplay.
And I still have counterplay before you mate me, because I still have one pawn covering dark squares, and White's got like nothing.
Yeah, but now you can't do it because I take and play queen d8 check and queen h4 check, and I can defend my bishop.
Now I can't do it because something happened. Bishop d1, trade. Okay.
Yeah, position is bad, the time is bad, but maybe he has some tricky way to get out. But it's not, doesn't look good.
All right. Another big matchup that's on the table this round is Jeffrey Xiong against Tigran Petrosian. And you know, Destiny not off to a good start in this match, down 2 points against the Sluggers. But they're a really strong team, tied for first place right now with 3.5 out of 4. So they're going to fight till the end, and if they could get a win from Jeffrey against Petrosian, that would be a really big point to get. How's he doing, Ben? What do you think of this one?
This looks like it's about equal to me. I think black is okay. It's got the A file, the nice bishop, the queen on b4, b3 is weak, and white has the 2 bishops.
So everything going good for black.
Yeah, well, okay, 2 bishops is 2 bishops.
2 bishops is 2 bishops. He's got to cover d6.
Black's got to be happy with this position.
Yeah, it's pretty sound.
What else can he ask for?
Pretty sound overall. All right.
And Mamedyarov just started. He's black after that stunning loss with white.
Right, here he is against
Exactly.
Zbigniew.
Yeah.
Zbigniew Pakleza. And London system. London system versus Queen's Indian.
Let's go to the game Serrana versus Yu Jingyu.
Oh, yeah. I want to see Serrana play a little bit.
Black's up a piece, white's queening, and both sides have no time.
All right, hang on. I'm going to need 1 second to find this. Is he Mishonic? Yeah, he's Mishonic.
Yeah, against XXY Soul 6.
He's down a piece.
And there's no time,
pawns.
and both sides are getting mated. Very confused.
No idea why he played that move.
Well, he thinks he's going to get mated, so he wants to play king to a5, but he might get mated there too.
What was he going to get mated by? Rook c1?
Maybe, yeah.
a7, rook c1, king forced up here, rook b2, king to a3, rook a2, king b4, rook b1, king c3, rook a5. Something like that. Okay.
Yeah, or rook b3 mate, if I'm seeing it right.
Was there a mate in my variation?
The final move.
The final move could have been mate.
Rook b3 mate.
Yeah, you're right. It was. Sorry, everybody.
Who's better here? I'm confused. I like having an extra piece, but I like having the pawn. Oh, that's a good move.
Yeah, I think he's going to move the king, not trade once.
See what's happening here.
Oh.
Yeah, so this is just black winning.
That's it. He lost it.
Huh.
That could be it for the Kangaroos, man. I mean, I don't want to declare anyone dead too soon. They're only down 1 point, but I mean, the Pandas don't need so many points. If Serrana's not on fire today, I'm not sure I see it coming together for them.
So are you telling me their board 1's lower rated than China's board 3?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you're telling me.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, like, part of my thought that there was a chance for a Kangaroo upset here was that they've overperformed, and Serrana particularly had an incredible Super Saturday. So if he can't take out the board 3, if he's not really on fire today, I don't know that the Kangaroos have enough kick to take this one. There, I joined your evil tribe.
I can't bear those puns.
Yeah.
The Pandas. Yeah. Well, somehow Dreyev managed to trade queens. Unfortunately,
good for him.
It's 10 minutes to 20 seconds. Okay. Otherwise, his position's getting better.
He's got it all locked up, man.
Yeah, but 20 seconds, and it's harsh.
Dreyev's a good player. If it's simple enough, he doesn't need any time.
Doesn't need any time? Okay.
Nah.
Yeah.
No, time is for people who don't know all the best moves and need to think about their moves.
But what if white plays king f2 to e3 to d4 to c5? Which looks like what he's going to do.
Yeah. I don't know. He'll improve his knight somehow. And
yeah, maybe like white can't do anything if he does that. It's funny. But it seems like it's good for white.
Okay. But how would white do anything? I mean, it's still a little bit of work.
Never do anything. No, I like white. Okay, so that game did end. The Chinese player beat the Kangaroo. Let's see. They're just starting a couple matches. Another Kangaroo matchup looks good for the Kangaroos. Smirnov looks like he's winning against Jaimo.
Okay, that's what they need. Let me see.
He has less time, but he has more pieces.
All right. So, pieces usually more important until you get down to the last couple seconds.
Yeah, and Smirnov's easy to find. Against Panda 0. Wow, it's a good handle.
I'll find it in a second.
Smirnov against Panda 0. Looks good for the Kangaroos.
Never mind. I spoke too soon. I'm not going to find it the easy way. All right.
What about the hard way?
The hard way is going to work.
Yep.
There it is. Nope, that didn't work either. Are you sure his name is just Smirnov?
It's actually Anton Smirnov.
Okay.
Against Panda 0.
Got it.
So it looks good for the Kangaroos. Are they too far behind now, or can they catch up?
The Kangaroos are down 2 points
down by
at this
2's
point.
okay.
It's not the end. I just
exactly
kind of worried for them.
Let's see. Let me have a look and see what they're saying here.
All right, so Smirnov's idea
Greg says
is to just win with this D pawn here.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, is Greg serious? Or is he kidding?
He is serious. That's why the Sluggers and Dallas Destiny match was like immediately out of 9 points instead out of 8.
Wow.
He drew against Vladi Wizard, this opposite colored bishop position. He basically agreed to a draw in the last position we saw.
Right. I remember that position. I thought black was a little bit better, but maybe not.
Apparently not. Okay, what on earth? Jaimo just sacked the rook? Why? Or I mean the bishop?
He sacked the house?
This d5 move, he just took it, and I was just going to say, before we started talking about Hikaru's draw that,
So opposite colored bishops are
d5,
always a draw?
He was going to push the pawn down because the bishop can't take because of rook e8 and bishop d6, and then it happened and resigned. All right.
So Dreyev has set up a fortress, and he has 10 seconds left.
The Kangaroos are only down 1 after 2 out of 4 rounds. I guess it's not over yet. It could still happen. All right, Smirnov here. Where's Azeri Chess? How's he doing against
Azeri Chess is playing
weird
the guy
position.
Whose name I can't pronounce.
Yep. The guy whose name you can't pronounce? You got to be more specific.
There's more than one guy I know. Yeah.
All right, so bishop takes d5. What do you have in store for me? Show me, show me. Somebody's offering a draw somewhere.
Yeah?
Yep, somewhere on the planet, someone offered a draw.
Draw declined is actually the guy's handle, so that's funny.
It was Hovannes Gabuzian. He offered a draw. Dreyev declined it, then offered it back. It's obviously called Bishops. He just didn't see it fast enough. He was just making some moves, not too worried.
Oh, so Dreyev held that. You were right.
Yeah, told ya.
Wow.
When you're good enough, you don't need time, man.
He looked in the mirror and he said he's good enough and people like him.
Yeah, gosh darn it, he's going to get this draw.
That's right.
So
if only our audience got that joke, but they don't.
I'm sure somebody does.
Some of them do, yeah, not many. And Kirwa looks like he might win again. He's playing the board.
Wait a second. Wait a second. Tell me what you think of Xiong Petrosian, because we just had a development. Bishop E3.
Rook takes E3.
And he just casually, says, "Didn't you know? I can always just take that."
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. Can he play C5? I'm too old to figure that out.
C5?
I'm too old. I need somebody younger. You're younger than me.
I am younger than you.
He played C5.
He did play C5.
And he pre-moved D takes C5.
He had pre-moved that?
Yeah, D takes C5. Right. I don't know if he pre-moved it, but
it came fast.
Like he did. Now I can still take on C5, but I'm way too old to do that.
Yeah, pawn takes C5 looks pretty darn good.
Does it? Can I play Rook C3?
Yeah. Rook C3, Queen C3, Queen B1, Queen G7, King G7, Rook B1, Knight C5, Rook B5, draw.
Whoa, you drew pretty quickly there.
Not quite, but something like that. It looks pretty equal. So maybe he wants to do better than pawn takes C5, allowing Rook C3. Good call, Ben. Good call.
What board is Keaton Kirwa? Is he board 4?
He's board 3, if I remember correctly.
Oh, he's board 3?
For today's lineup. I think Nom Nom is their board 4 today.
Oh, okay, you're right, because he might go 4-0 today.
That would be pretty impressive. Let's see how Keaton's doing here. He's probably
going to win this game because the opponent has no time left. There's no time for black. All right,
Keaton here with white. Material's equal, but his position's good. Right, so here he's playing the board 4. I mean, he beat their top 2, so that immediately gives you a chance at 4-0. If you're board 3 and you beat their top 2, then there's
I'm not sure if he's winning this position, though, but with 17 seconds, I think you might figure it out.
I mean, it looks more like he's going to lose that pawn on H7 at some point. Well, not that way. Not with the king on the G file.
No.
No. A5.
Yeah, Rook G2 or no? Rook B2.
I thought his rook was pretty good on G2 there.
Strong too.
What?
Rook B8.
What's going on? C5?
Knight D7 looks good.
Knight D7.
5 looks good. Rook D2 looks the best. I like Rook D2 now. It stops bishop takes H7, threatens Rook H7 check.
Yeah, that
looks annoying also.
There's some options here. This is pretty exciting for him. But we got to follow Xiong's game with the pieces hanging. So let's see. C5, took the rook, takes on B4. That means Xiong is saying, I've got the advantage. I'm going to convert this one. You parted with your exchange too quickly. You mean
Petrosian? Why?
No, Xiong is planning to win. Because he didn't go for that pawn takes C5. He took the rook on E3. I think he's playing for the win here. Yeah.
That's what I think. Maybe he's playing for the loss.
Inadvertently, if so. But I think he thinks he's playing for the win.
I like black here. I definitely like black.
Okay. If bishop C3, queen takes C3.
Nice.
And then C2.
Everything's
not sure that works. Not sure that works.
Pinned. Wow. That is interesting.
Does it? Bishop C3, queen C3, pawn C3, rook B6, C2. And white's up a rook, but doesn't win.
No, but then I play rook B to D6.
Rook B to D6.
And then you take and I take, and your B pawn saying you can't move it because bishop C6.
And then I try to convert 3 versus 3 on the king side.
There's one of your draws then. Yeah.
There is a draw. Yeah. All right. So bishop C3 may be playable. But if not, I think Xiong's threat here is queen E4. So I'm just saying black's got to watch out for that. Got to watch out for that.
Wow, both sides could win this position. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Okay, let's look at the num-num factor.
I think this and Shakhriyar's games are the most exciting, but I clicked on Keaton's game just in time to see Keaton win on time here.
Yeah.
So Keaton is up to 3-0.
He did win. He won on the board.
He did win on the board. He won off his C pawn.
Look at Hilby's game with Hevia.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Nam Nam versus Chess.
Got it. Chess Sasuke.
What's happening here?
He offered a draw and he took it.
I thought Black was going to win that position. Wow. He had a lot of extra pawns and White's king was stalemated.
Let's see. White had just given him 10 checks in a row. So let's see. Let's analyze these checks.
Can I check you with my rook and you can't take my rook as a stalemate?
That is correct.
Oh, so you can't win. Wow.
Yeah, no, can't win.
Oh, wow.
There it is. The crazy rook. Now you've all seen it.
Nice. A lucky escape for White, I think.
And back to Mamedyarov. All right, so fancy position. He takes the pawn sack from Pakleza. Pakleza brings his knight in to d6, looking strong.
Michael Brown just beats Tukopin with Black. That's a big result.
Puts some pressure on him, gets the pawn on a6, and I guess nobody's blundered anything decisive yet.
Not yet.
And they both have good squares for their knights. You have any preference for who you'd like to be, Pakleza or Mamedyarov?
My knight on d3 is stable.
Yeah, who would you like to be, Pakleza or Mamedyarov?
Mamedyarov.
Why is that?
Oh, you mean in the position or just in general?
It was a trick question.
I know. But
you saw it.
Still Mamedyarov.
Still Mamedyarov.
2,800 FIDE. That's not bad.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're going to wake up as somebody else tomorrow, I'd rather wake up as somebody rated 2,800.
Has to live the rest of his life knowing he lost to me with White. So I don't know. That's tough.
Yeah. It's always better to be the person who's so good that other people see it as a big accomplishment that they beat them. All right, F4 is played. Brilliant. He can't take it en passant, even though beginners are always tempted to show they know the rule by doing it. Because of queen takes d3 here. That said, I'm not sure that f4 is a good move for White.
No, but I think his position's bad.
His position's getting bad.
I think it's bad. Yeah.
He tried to do some sort of a something. Man, Michael Q2 D5.
Well said. Well said.
QD Q2 T QD.
QD pie? What?
Queen to D5. By winning that game, he has pushed the lead of the surfers to 8-4 going to the last round. So that match is starting to be like a runaway.
Wow, 8-4.
If anybody remembers our standings,
I can see. No.
Our standings say that
San Diego has a nice sponsor, so they're up 8-4.
Our standings say that San Diego is 2.5, 1.5, and Ospreys are in last place, so they'll probably stay in last place with that.
Yep.
All right. Mamedyarov.
The Sluggers are up by 2. The Las Vegas Desert Rats are up by 2, and the Pandas only up by 1 against the Kangaroos.
A5 was another desperate move by Pakleza. You know, trading off his stronger pawn for the weaker pawn, giving up the b5 square for his knight. Now he's got to cover b2. Everything's kind of going worse here.
Yeah, this is no fun.
I guess rook a8 is a strong move already, right? Just going after the knight and the b2 pawn.
Looks good. Yeah, the knight on g3 is a monster, but maybe I can't sack for it, so yeah, it's a terrible position. Mamedyarov should win this game.
Yeah, probably. How's this exchange position going? Nothing new yet. We'll get back to this, but Xiang is so far just defending his f2 pawn, looking happy. I think he's still got the chances in this one.
Okay, you have to explain a game to me.
Yeah, which one?
Serrano versus Zhu Wenjun.
Serrano.
I refuse to give commentary on this position. I'm too old.
Grandmaster Misha. Nick.
What's happening? I need an adult.
There's a knight on h7. That's happened.
How? How's that knight on h7?
It probably came through g5. I was going to say before f6 got played, but actually after f6 was played.
Right, and then he played king f, or she played king f7, defending g6.
So Varentin's queen h5, so g6 was played. Then knight h7. You can't take the knight or anything because of bishop g6. So basically, only possible move king f7. And now Serrano's got to justify all his optimism here because his stuff is all still hanging. I guess he's got to play some version of g4 now. G4, knight G7, then
I
what?
mean, he has a lot of pieces hanging. He has a bishop and a knight hanging.
He's lost, man. He's lost. I don't know. Queen C2. Queen C2, queen to G8. That doesn't seem to help white very much. Queen C2, queen G8, G4. There.
Maybe I can play G4 here.
I found one thing where you don't have to resign. You should definitely go queen C2, queen G8 first, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So that knight G7 is not possible because it interferes with the defense. So queen C2, right? And queen C2 has a real threat of bishop takes G6. So black's limited on moves, right? Like pawn takes bishop on E5, bishop G6 will win for white. I mean, maybe black could throw in knight E5, but I don't know that that helps him after DE5. That's just one less hanging piece for white. And he still has to deal with G6. Well, then he could play F5, and the knight's still trapped. So it probably comes to F6, or you play G4.
Man, queen C2, queen G8 is such a cool move.
G4 hitting the knight still. Black's pretty comfortable in that position. I don't know. Has he played anything? No, not yet. Yeah. Somebody suggests another candidate move for white is bishop G6 check and queen G4. That's a good suggestion as well.
Yeah, but I saw that, but I thought black's taking all of white's pieces.
Queen
King G6,
G4,
King H7.
And now instead of king H7, maybe king H6 even, defending the knight. And the knight on H7 is still trapped, and white doesn't really have any checks or threats or captures. So I think that would be the end of that. I think king H6 would be the period at the end of the sentence. So queen C2.
Obviously, white wasn't expecting king F7 because there's been like a 4-minute think.
You have to expect king F7, man.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't think 4 minutes unless you were, surprised.
If you didn't see king F7, you're just way too confident to be playing knight takes H7 without looking at anything.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, look at you, Wenjun. I'll just take on H7. But
Anthony Hutter, he's doing it again. He has 9 seconds to 5 minutes. But he's done a lot of pawns too, so he's about to lose.
I don't like this knight G5 move. I don't think this is the right feeling. This gives me the wrong feeling.
What don't you like?
Knight G5 check.
Knight G5 takes.
Just trading off all his minor pieces for a rook. Seems like black's position is pretty nice after that.
Yeah, I agree. Let's look at Zhang Petrosian again, and then tell me who's better.
See if something happened. I'm going to tell you white before I go there, and then let's see if I'm right. Yep, I'm right.
You are? Okay.
I don't know. He's still got his extra rook. There's just been one rook trade, which black orchestrated because he was kind of tied up on the D file. But rook trades usually favor the person with the extra exchange. So I think he just continues maneuvering, and eventually with opposite colored bishops, he has a winning attack on the king side. He just needs to open a diagonal to F7 at some point so his bishop can get busy.
Yeah, good luck doing that.
I don't know, pawn F5. That should open something up.
Wow, who's that open it for? Wow.
Both of us, but
Queen B5.
I count on my extra rook to triumph once things blow up.
And he thought a long time about Queen B5.
Yeah. It's a nice small improvement. I don't think I would go for Queen C6 in the endgame, even though it might also be winnable. But I would want to play F5 in a middle game here. That's what I really want.
I'm still trying to decide.
He's got the idea of G5, Rook D7. How can you not decide who you like better, Ben?
I haven't decided.
Be decisive, man.
I can't do it.
He's got one big reason you should prefer white, and it's the rook.
Queen A2 check.
Wait, what are you saying?
Queen A7.
Queen A7?
I want to play Queen A2.
Okay. I guess you're welcome to.
Yeah.
Does it matter?
No.
Okay. So I would respond with G5, I guess.
Right. Then Queen A2, you play King G3.
I'll move my king. Sure. G3. That's fine. Now your knight goes to H7 or something?
Well, I could go to H5.
Okay. I take.
And you'll take it, and I'll take.
Take.
I guess if I play H4, you can play King H3, so you get sort of a free move to attack me.
Yeah. So I'll play G6 with my free move. Are you ready?
Yeah,
Are you ready for G6?
Yeah, you're pre-moving.
Queen B8. All right.
Queen B8 seems to indicate to me that white's playing for the win.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. I would say so. How's Shak doing with his position? Wow. His knight on D3 is even more defended than last time you saw it.
Wow.
Even more defended. All right. So he really like put in like a second nail, pawn on c4, queen to b4, g4. That's somebody who needs space. It's a cry for help from his king. It's also a cry for getting mated. Good thing he traded queens, because Shak was ready to go rook h7 check, queen back to e7.
I'm confused. Heavy is playing Kirwa, and Heavy hasn't moved on move 1. He's lost a minute and a half on his clock. That's weird. I haven't seen that. This is the last round, right, for them?
Should be.
That I've never seen in the Pro Chess League, I must admit. Yeah. Maybe like in the first game, but not in the last game.
All right. So the hackers are down 2 points.
Yeah.
We're watching.
Do you have the same thing that I do? Otherwise, very suspicious.
So Petrosian.
Yeah. So Heavy hasn't moved on move 1. It's been 2 minutes.
Yeah. I believe you.
That's a strange thing.
I believe you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to click to it because the position's probably going to be boring. So
it'll be the starting position. Yeah.
So I'm going to stick here with Petrosian and
Jean Petrosian.
Jean has finally offered a queen trade, which I don't think
he's offered
a good
draw.
Choice.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that's the best choice. Maybe he thinks he's got this knight so trapped.
It is pretty trapped.
That he can somehow win this, but he's like low on ways to break through without queens.
Mm-hmm.
So now...
And both sides have 20 seconds, so all 3 results possible and likely.
Right. So it brings the king up to defend his own pawns. Then he'll maneuver his bishop to c4. Whoa!
Yeah, Black wants to trade all the pawns. All of them.
Yeah. Pawn takes e5 deals with that, though. That was good.
Mm-hmm.
Good call, Jeffrey. All right, bring the bishop to c4.
9 seconds for Jeffrey.
Bring the bishop to c4. All right. All right. I mean, how could he not win this eventually? I don't understand.
Yeah, b5. Played like a man running out of moves.
Yeah, like a man in Zugzwang.
Yeah.
I'm going to play it like a man in Zugzwang.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. Yeah, that knight's really dominated.
God, what move is he ever supposed to play, right? Bishop c3, bishop d4, bishop c3, bishop d4.
Bishop h4, bishop takes g5.
He wants to go to h4, but yeah, bishop d5 is always good enough to win as well.
White has almost no pawns left. Hard to win. 5 seconds. 4. Wow.
Uh-oh. Not exactly what he wanted.
So rook e3. Is that pawn going to be enough? Maybe. Black has a pawn too.
You've got a pawn there, my friend.
Maybe b3 check. Get that king over there. Kick that king away. Oh, watch it. Rook f8's a threat.
Yeah, it is.
And he's got rid of rook f8. Wow, that was nice.
He knows that threat. All right, king b3. You got to take the b pawns before that other thing. Ooh, a threat, an escape, a counter. Get him. What? Weird.
He's running away.
He finds new territory for his bishop. Catch him. Catch him.
3 seconds. Wow. This looks like it's going to be a draw. Wow.
Yeah.
And that's a fair result.
No, it's not. White should have won.
It's fair. Oh, maybe White can still win.
Oh, he's taking away the bishop squares.
Why didn't you take on b5 and play rook c8? Why did you do that?
Why did
you do that instead of just playing king b5 right away? So king b5 and he wins. Wow.
Yeah. Jeffrey.
Wow.
The crowd's going wild, man. They're all screaming his name.
He did it.
Actually, it's only me. What's wrong with this crowd? Come on.
So that was actually a mistake putting his bishop to the queen's side. Then the white king got involved. He had to keep it over an f6 and e7. Wow.
So
that was an important win.
A draw would not have been a fair result.
An important win.
All right, checking back on Shak.
Wow, Shak's lost all of his pawns.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Just that c-pawn left. It is messy.
Black had this great position.
And he's got 2 minutes against 5, so Pakleza is definitely putting in some work here.
That's amazing that White escaped.
Man, that was nice how he trapped that bishop on that diagonal. Could he have done it if the bishop had stayed on the f6 side of things?
I think that's probably a draw if he puts bishop on f6, e7, and d8.
Because Black chose to go out to a5.
Yeah. Well, he had more squares on that diagonal, but the white king got involved.
Yeah, because on the other diagonal, there was a pawn on g5, but that was going to move at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he could have drawn if he kept his bishop on the other diagonal. Yeah.
Maybe. All right. focusing on this game here for a moment, do you think that this c-pawn can convert? He's got ideas of like knight b3, right? And c3, c2 kind of stuff. Could Shak win it with one pawn? I think that Pakleza is going to play f5 at some point just to trade off a pawn, just because like when you're against someone this good, you're hoping for a draw.
Can you quickly go to Serrano, Wenjun, Ju?
I might. What are you going to pay me?
Nishanik, Juin. It's the biggest fork we've ever seen, plus back rank mate. It's got everything you want in chess.
That is.
Did you get there?
That is. But look at that. The knight can't take anybody.
No, but bishop f5, you can't take the knight because of mate.
The knight can't take anybody yet.
Yeah, but king g7, bishop f5.
Yeah, you're right. Any move is going to win here, other than
I think so. Yeah.
Other than queen h3.
That was the fork of the century.
It's kind of like a delayed fork too. It's like knight f2, and you can play rook f1, and you're still forked.
Right. Well, the back rank is important in this situation. The rook c1 idea.
Yeah. Yep. So everybody, if like king g7, I'll just show it here. The whole problem with the back rank. I'll diagram it for you with some helpful arrows. All right. Ju Wenjun, she's doing what I would do. She is sitting there thinking and enjoying her delectable fork. She also had two pieces against her rook. Remember when I said that Serrano was going to lose this game when he didn't play queen c2? This whole position, this whole game is just hopeless to play a game where your opponent has twice as many minor pieces as you. I just don't see the joy in that. I mean, she was just active this whole time. Boom, boom, boom. Knight to f2, king g7. Come on. That's no good. The pandas and the kangaroos are still locked in a mortal 4.5, 3.5 combat, but the Destiny have made their comeback thanks to Jeffrey's win against Petrosian and Hikaru's 18-move draw. And for the first time,
6-6. Wow.
the Destiny have tied the match 6-6. They were down by 2 points going into this round, so they just won 3-1. And now the pressure's on for Hikaru and Tigran. I don't know how pumped Tigran's going to be after getting ground down by Jeffrey.
Yep. That's how Jeffrey does it.
All right, let's see, Shak. Let's see the magic. Knight e5, pawn to c3. We know where this pawn wants to go. It wants to go to c1. No surprise there. I guess he's going to play knight b3 at the last possible moment, because if he moves it too soon, white can go rook d7, trade a rook, and get, perpetual threats against the black king, get the 7th rank behind the c pawn. So he's delaying it. He wants his pawn on c2 before he moves the knight. Can he go c2 now? I'm not sure what king f3 did about it. c2. c2. Doesn't that just destroy white? What is white going for?
He's going to play rook g1. He did play rook g1.
Yeah, but is that threatening mate, or is that a way of resigning?
Well, I got 2 rooks and a knight. I should have some attack somewhere, but maybe I don't.
So let's say we played rook b1 just for argument's sake, right? Like saying like, hey, you're resigning. Rook g6, king h7.
Right, I want to play rook d2, but probably rook f1 check wins. Like rook d2, rook h2 mate.
Rook d2 going for mate, right?
Yeah, but now we rook f1 check, what do I do?
The king's got to get in the way of something.
Yeah, that's not good.
If he goes to g3, there's rook g1, and yeah, whatever, it's over. So what happened? Rook b1 happened.
This is exactly what happened.
Check here, rook d2, rook f1. Oh, it's all happening.
Yeah.
That's kind of bad. He had 5 minutes against 2. He spent 3 minutes and just lost to c3, c2.
Yeah.
I don't know. He was doing well till then, but...
And then rook g1 check, I assume?
Yeah, I assume rook g1 check wins a rook. Grim. Exactly what would happen to me if I had to play against Mamedyarov. All right, so Serrano resigned. Some random moves happened somehow, but let's see. I mean, she just moved her king away.
Yeah, she was up 2 pieces.
Queen, won that piece, moved away. Still back rank mate coming. Queen g7 resigns. Yeah, pretty clean. And pretty clean win coming here for him. Extra queen. That'll do it, Shak. Good job.
Yeah, speaking of extra queen, Dreyev's down a queen.
Pulling the hackers back a little bit.
Fighting for a draw.
Dreyev's down a queen?
He has a rook and a knight, but he's not happy.
Okay.
Because he has the white pieces. He's fighting for a draw on move 20.
That's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Pretty quick.
Something went wrong.
Good thing his team already basically won the match in the last 3 rounds. I'm not seeing him at the moment. Where are you? Oh, Hikaru versus Jeffrey is starting. That's pretty intense. That's a 6-6 match, and oh, there's
Naroditsky's going to beat
Igro.
Kacyan. Naroditsky's up a piece.
I see what you mean about Dreyev. Not so good.
Yeah.
All right, you're saying one of the other games is already decided, Naroditsky and Kacyan?
Naroditsky, Kacyan. Naroditsky's up a piece.
Oh, that's the last game of the round, right?
So he'll win. And
so if Naroditsky wins, that brings the Hackers to 5-5. That would be the first time they were tied this match.
Yeah,
right?
He
They're also
win
playing
this move,
catch-up.
I'm guessing. This is a good time to resign.
Yeah? You like this moment?
Yeah, he did. Very good. Perfect.
You are a wizard of resignations.
Boy, I was resigning before these guys were born.
Yeah. Wow.
I know how to resign.
Called that resignation.
I was alive when Nixon resigned, unlike most of our listeners.
You honed your resignations.
That's right. Yeah.
With that. All right. I've got also in this Pandas match, Wang Yue against Anton Smirnov. There's no 2,800 in this game, but this is a pretty intense matchup. Wang Yue is leading the way for the Pandas today. They got a lead on the Kangaroos. It's board 1 against board 2. Smirnov, the young prodigy, is hanging in there so far, but he doesn't have a lot of winning chances in this endgame, would you say?
No, I mean, I'll take black, but it looks like it should be a draw.
Right. Fair drawing chances for white.
Yeah,
but
it'll probably be a draw. Yeah.
We're down 2 to the Pandas.
Right, what's going on in Nakamura's Yang?
Like
What's happening here? This looks like Nakamura's black, but he's white.
A wild start. Jeffrey is, playing some Nakamura stuff. Well, both sides look like Nakamura, to be fair. I mean, lots of fianchettos, lack of opening theory. Actually, this line is now opening theory, but 5 years ago it wasn't.
What's going on in this match? This is a tied match?
This is a tied match. This is one of the match of the night.
Yeah.
This is one of the. We're going to have 2 6-6 matches here in round 4. So all eyes on these board 1 clashes. Xiong Nakamura U.S. Championship preview, and Mamedyarov will be going up against Melik Kacyan. Boom, boom, boom. Cling.
That's easy for you to say.
That sound of capturing pieces is just satisfying, right?
It is nice. Okay, and Ostrovsky is beating Christopher Yu. And how does that affect that match?
What do you mean Ostrovsky's beating Christopher Yu? That game's still going?
Yeah, but it's not really going. It's only going in theory, not in practice.
From which round?
Exactly. No, they both have seconds left. So it's the last game of the last round.
Oh. So I was wrong. This match is not 6-6. The Desert Rats are still going to be ahead 7-5.
7-5. That's right.
Oh man, I thought that the last game was that win by Naroditsky.
I mean, I'm like embarrassed here because whenever we go on the broadcast before we go on live, I'm like, that San Jose lineup looks pretty good, and I'm always proven wrong. Man. The only time they won was when I wasn't doing the commentary. And that looks like a good lineup.
Yeah.
Got Naroditsky on board too.
Well, I think you're going to be in a good situation here pretty soon, Ben. The Hackers are going to pay you to not do commentary.
Yeah,
then you'll go to Chess.com. Sorry, they paid me not to do commentary. Chess.com will be like, well, we'll pay you even more to do your commentary.
There you go. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Then you're like, okay, fine, I'll do the commentary. Then the Hackers have to come back, offer you even more.
That's right.
Soon you'll be better paid than Shock.
And deservedly so.
And deservedly so. It's kind of a McMonkey McBean situation if you've read the Sneetches lately.
Not lately.
Your kids are too old for that, huh?
Yep. Yeah, that was one of the great matchups last season, was the game Deservedly versus So. And I think So won. Unusual player, Deservedly.
Yeah. What Mr. McMonkey McBean does with the Sneetches is first is there's some Sneetches with stars and some Sneetches without stars. And first he gets the Sneetches without stars to pay him to have stars so they can be as cool as the other Sneetches. Then the other Sneetches pay him to take off their stars so they can still be different from the other starred Sneetches.
Makes sense.
and then they pay him back and forth. And that's what you can run, the same scam with San Jose and Chess.com.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So bishops traded on one long diagonal. Now we just need the other bishops traded on the other diagonal.
So maybe there's something wrong with my internet, but it looks like Nakamura has less time.
What has happened to Nakamura?
I've never in all my years.
Has an imposter taken over? He took a draw on move 18. He used all his time in one game, and now he has less time than his opponent in the opening?
That he's white, yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
Well, believe it.
I just simply don't believe it.
Yeah, it seems like Nakamura's black this game. More time. He's playing more like Nakamura. White's playing more like Jeffrey. Very strange. And we got, is this from the last round? I guess so. Oh, yeah, for China and Australia are slightly behind. And that's a 1-point match, David? Let's see. Oh, it's a 2-point match. China's up by 2.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a game with 6 minutes versus 20 seconds. And White is taking all of Black's pieces also. It's also good.
All right. Let's see if we can pull up the second boards from Seattle versus Dallas. So that would be Tigran Petrosian against Vladi Wizard. I feel like Vladi Wizard's had a pretty good day so far today. But let's just check that since he's got a game history.
I was thinking he's having a bad day, so I guess we're going to find out.
He lost one, won one, drew one. So I guess.
Okay, but he drew Hikaru, so.
Yeah. I guess it's not clear
that's
yet.
a good day.
I guess his day is to be decided. He did lose that.
That's a better day than I would have.
He did lose that one game to Roll and Feng in the first round, which put them in trouble, and his draw with Hikaru helped them come back. All right, so we got another double fianchetto game. So that's the theme of this round, double fianchetto for White here. Queen on A1. And what do we think? The A file, is that for keeps yet? Nope, not for keeps yet.
Another win for China. So China's up by 3 points. The Pandas.
Oh, are they?
Yep, they just won a game. So they're up 6.5, 3.5. No upset today for that match, it looks like.
Okay. So Panda's pulling ahead, and the only team that can keep pace with them are the Destiny, who are watching here. Luke Harmon, Vladi, board 2 for the Dallas Destiny today. So the Destiny playing 2600 GM on board 1, and then 3 2400 players balanced on boards 2 through 4. So this game here is the game, like rating wise, this is the game that Seattle needs to win this round. Is Tigran Petrosian against Luke Harmon Vladi, because on boards 3 and 4, Seattle's probably going to be slightly outrated, right? They're going to have their youngsters on boards 3 and 4, who will always give them a shot, but they will be playing slightly higher rated, experienced players. For Dallas, that said, Harmon Vladi's position looks totally healthy so far. I think he'll take with his queen on f6. And then if queens trade, you know, he's got a2 for his rook. I don't see anything that could be wrong with Black's position here.
No, that looks perfectly fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you go queen f6 or take with the pawn?
I'm thinking about doing something else.
What were you going to do?
Well, I was thinking of rook a1.
But then after bishop takes e7, it turns out you're down a piece.
It does?
Oh, no, it doesn't.
Count
It's still all
differently than I
equal.
do.
Yeah. All still equal. No, but this rook is like the highlight of Black's position.
Right. Yeah, no, I like what Black's doing. Yeah. Now, I'm watching this crazy dragon between Hevia and Kirwa, because Kirwa's going for 4-0. And they got to a rook ending from some totally insane all prep where they're both giving all their pieces away. So I mean, and Kira always had a lot more time, so I think he had better prep.
He's
but
playing a higher rated player in the last round.
I thought he'd make it checkmated, but then he got to this rook ending.
Not an easy path to 4-0 for him here.
No, but wow, that was a crazy dragon.
But he does seem to have the edge at the moment. He's going rook.
No, this is good for black.
G4
yeah, he might go
G6. 4-0. He's still got a shot at the 4-0.
He's got a chance.
But it'll take some work.
He's gonna have an extra pawn in 6 extra minutes.
All right.
So he's got a chance.
Let's see what Hikaru's got going against Xiong. Somehow he's doubled his pawns with this queen trade on f3. Okay, so yeah, I mean, after the bishop trade, everybody wants to control the long diagonal with the queen. Since they can't both control it, they trade the queens. Takes the doubled pawn, and he can always take away the e5 square from the knights, like you say, so he can get some pressure on the e file. And if e6 is ever played, then he'll get some pressure on the d file. So it seems like still a small positional pull for white.
Oh, Kirwatch is true. So his game's over. 3.5 for him. Still, that's a good day at the office.
Yeah, too bad. What was the repetition that white came up with here?
They attacked the f pawn, defended it, and so forth. Yeah, I think he could have tried to win.
He
but
could go for rook g6 and try and win. No.
Yeah, but it's a pretty good result.
We won't find out today.
Yeah.
All right, Naka, knight c2.
Somebody said, how old is Xiong? He's 17, you said?
17. 17.
Yeah, Jeffrey was playing at the St. Louis Chess Club in the junior when he was like 12. And
yeah, San Diego, that draw was also 8.5 for them. So that confirms that they win the match that we all knew they would win.
Yep.
Would have taken quite a disaster for them to.
And yeah, the Pandas are up by 3. Vegas is up by 2. And Seattle and Dallas are slugging it out to see whose destiny it'll be.
To top the division.
I like this matchup. I just randomly clicked on, not because of the position. It's Stopa versus you. And like Stopa's their board 4. Wow.
Yeah.
It's a good board 4.
Yeah. Yeah, there were a couple really high rated board 4s today. Dallas has one of them as well. Let's see if we can find him in case it comes down to his game. Let's look for this. Komandora. Titas Stremavicius. Playing here, board 4, 24-26 FIDE for Dallas. So this is one of the games they could all come down to. Anthony Hay, obviously outrated here. Struggling to hold his c-pawns. But, you know, he's got a couple of them.
Now this looks like, I'm looking at a game, looks like another point for China. Yeah, they're going to win this game too. There's a rook and 3 versus rook and 1.
Well, that could get out of control. It should be the last game of round 3 for them still.
That's going to be a huge, that's a huge score.
All right, so how would you defend this position for Xiong against Hikaru if we're going to agree that Hikaru has an edge here?
Oh yeah, this is nice for white.
All right, how would we try and defend this if we were a Dallas Destiny fan?
Well, he just played e6, which is sort of risky. The d pawn, there's a permanent weakness for you.
Yeah.
He's going to probably play king e7 as quickly as you can. Maybe put his knight on e8 if he has to, and just chill. And suffer, yeah. But maybe he can do it. If he gets his king to e7, he can defend the d pawn. Hard for white to break through.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey's really good at these positions where he's slightly worse and it's a positional game. That's his real bread and butter. He'd also be good with white in this position. He's likes these sort of boring positions where somebody's a tiny bit better and there's some pressing. And that's the kind of position Jeffrey excels at.
Yeah.
So I think he's pretty happy now.
I love the comment in the chat room on the game. Amazing how he gains the initiative from an inferior position.
That's right.
It's not clear who the he is, but the follow-up questions from other confused people like me were, what initiative? Nobody seems to have an initiative in this position, right? And where inferior? How is his position inferior? So, love it. Love it when every single thing about a comment makes no sense.
The guys are tough. Yeah, there's tough in the chat.
All right. He's going for the classic d5 pawn break.
Classic.
Hard to execute with rook d2 coming, except the knight on c3 is hanging, so it's actually easy to execute. unless I'm missing something else. But, you know,
Playing for the advantage.
E6 and D5, that could be pretty solid for Jeffrey.
Mm-hmm.
That could be pretty solid.
Yeah, this looks like it's going to be a draw. Jeffrey's too good. Jeffrey won't lose this position.
You don't think so? This early, you can say that his technique will be flawless?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, knight b4 was a nice move. Oh.
It was nice, right? He probably saw it coming when he played e6, too. Freeing up his knights that were a little bit tied up for a moment. It's pretty nice. How are their board twos getting along? Tigran, Petrosian. It looks like he may have sacrificed a pawn. No, pawns are equal. No, they're equal. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, how did this pawn get to e5? What's going on? He just played bishop e5 himself. Luke did. Trying to gradually increase his space. I mean, there's no way Tigran's winning this game, is there? No.
One would think not.
No. There are ways he could lose this rook and pawn ending. If Vladi wanted to be really sure to win, at some point he should put his rook on b2 so white can't bail with c3. But yeah, I mean, black can gain space. I've occasionally won positions like this with black just by moving my pawns forward far enough and then finding a route in for the king. So I would say Tigran's in some danger.
No, definitely black is the one pressing here, for sure.
Is it conceivable for a GM to lose this kind of position as white?
Sure.
Yeah, could happen.
Yeah.
All right.
These things happen.
These things can happen.
Okay, Hilby just lost.
Yeah, I mean, Rio Grande really turned it on in the 4th round, but...
When it didn't matter? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess Keaton was the hero all throughout the match, since his half point in the last round was the half point they needed. Jeez.
Yeah, that's definitely why he didn't even think about trying to win. The match was over.
Well, maybe he saw, like, maybe everyone else on his team was like, Keaton, we're all losing, sorry. Don't roll any more dice. All right. Bouncing to board 4 for a second here. Titas seems to have collected a pawn safely on the c-file. So now, as I read it, he's ahead a pawn. He's got some pressure against the a5 and b7 pawns, which don't look the healthiest. He's breaking up the bishop pair at will with a light squared bishop trade. And then the remaining bishop on g7's going to need some work to be as effective as the knight because it's locked out at the moment. So this looks like exactly what you want against a junior if you're white. Extra pawn.
No, it's just winning.
Nice position. It's like this is exactly what could go wrong. Ooh, I like that move too. Actively taking a file. I mean, normally I play moves like rook c5 in that position and then rook c1 and just start attacking pawns, but
getting the rook off of a1 is a good idea.
Yeah, there seems to be several nice things about this. Now he can take on e5, and if bishop e5, he'll have knight c4 winning a pawn immediately. And if not bishop e5, he'll have the move f4, even more obviously winning a pawn.
That's so good. Yeah.
So that's going to be the second pawn sacrificed here with e5, trying desperately to get this bishop out, but he had 7 minutes, and he didn't really think before he went for this. Rook c5 would also would not have won a pawn as easily because of rook f5. So knight c4. Rook
There's a lot of vegetarian and pescatarian talk in the chat. That's
yeah.
I didn't know that was chess related. No, we learn something new every day.
I think he's going to lose really hard to g4 now.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the final moment of this game.
The final insult?
I think so. The way I calculate it goes g4. Now, if the rook moves anywhere but g5, then knight e5 will be pretty convincing. So rook to g5 for argument's sake, and then I play f3. And then I just want to play h4. Or I could play h3 and then play f4. I mean, either way. Is there some defense to this? Bishop back to g7?
The bishop moves, so the rook can go to d5 or c5.
h4 and the rook gets out. Yeah, I was wrong. I was hasty. I was hasty to condemn. Too hasty to condemn. My bad.
Why can't I play?
Still, this rook gives me a bad feeling. Something's going to go wrong.
Yeah, I want to play
Something's
E4.
gonna go wrong.
I guess you can play rook H5.
He could even play F4, rook G4, king F2, bishop retreats, take on A5 and C7, try and win it over there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something's
position,
funky.
Down a pawn, and his pieces are tricky.
Something is rotten in the state of rook on G5.
That's almost always the case. Yeah. It's
But-
not where you want your rook.
But he didn't lose a piece, so that was nice. The game goes on. Let's see what Hikaru's doing here with his knight, how he's responded to D5 by
Yeah,
Jeffrey.
what happened here? He played
He couldn't stop D5. He
D5,
doubles on the
then he played
D5.
G4. Matt
D5 gets
Larson's
played
happy.
G4. So
G5.
he couldn't stop D5, but he could stop D takes C4. So the tension remains. Knight H5, Knight E2 defending the F pawn, Rook D7. You still can't take on C4, Jeffrey. I don't know what's coming of this. Knight retreats to C6. This is some tension, this game. Knight E5 from Hikaru. This knight on H5 is trapped, and I'm not as certain as you were earlier that Jeffrey couldn't lose this.
Jeffrey's too good.
It seems losable now. No?
It's losable. Oh yeah.
Okay, but not for Jeffrey.
No, White's making progress.
Yeah.
No.
White's making some progress. How about Velati Wizard? Is he making any progress? Well, he gained a tiny bit more space. I don't know that that trade helps him much. I don't think he's making progress. This seems drawable for Tigran.
It seems like a draw. Yeah.
At the moment, seems well within the drawing margin. So if Hikaru wins, that would put Jeffrey and Dallas in a bad spot. And it looks like he's already offering a pawn sack. I mean, who knows how many pins could happen again and again on the D file.
Yeah, but it's possible the double def pawns aren't a big pawn.
Double F pawns wouldn't be great for winning.
Reasonable. Seems like a reasonable move.
There are ways to win with the double F pawn. It's not the worst pawn.
Black wants to play knight takes F4 next move if possible. If it's not possible, he still wants to do it.
Because at some point you go F5 and then you're threatening F6 pretty seriously, and they take, and then you're up a normal pass pawn.
Wow.
What?
Wow, the game where Dreyev lost a queen in the opening, he won. He won.
Oh.
He had a rook and a knight for a queen, and he won
rallied.
with his rook and knight. He checkmated
rallied
him.
and puts the surfers over the top.
He checkmated him. Wow.
He got a queenless checkmating attack. Oh, rook's on the 6th rank.
He was down a queen for rook and a knight the whole game, and he won.
Doesn't even have a pawn for it. He's just sitting here. Finally, suddenly
he
Stukopin
won
lets
the
him into
game.
the 6th
Amazing.
rank, and that is suddenly he's got all kinds of positional compensation.
Wow.
Jeez, and mates him on the board, and the rook hanging, and wow. Well, that's rough. That's good for Dreyev's fantasy points.
Mm-hmm. And that match was already over.
Keep him confident on track. All right, Naka traded the knights on C6. I feel he might take the pawn on D5 now. It seems like an extra pawn.
King G2, building.
What could happen better on D5 than him winning a pawn? Like, what's the better...
Well, he's moving his king up the board, and he's saying that black can't do the same.
Okay. So it's just a little bit of trash talk.
Yeah, his king got to F3 from G1.
Yeah. He's like, did you see my king? He's fancy.
Mm-hmm. He is fancy.
He's really highlighting that black doesn't control the F6 square, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Hikaru was good at trash talk from a young age. A prodigy.
Yeah, I'd like to get my knight to maybe F5, but okay, white has knight D4 anyway in those positions. It takes a long time. So yeah, this is just very nice for white. And finally, Hikaru has his usual 3-minute time advantage.
Finally, the clock looks right.
That we're used to.
All is well in the world. Hikaru tags back in and puts the hurt on young Jeffrey. All right. Good, Jeffrey. You got to try and bust out, man. Bust out. If rook takes d5, though, you can't play rook e2 anymore because of rook d7 check. That's too bad. because that was his saving grace before. Was, you know, if he played something like h6 or whatever, rook d5, he would have rook takes e2, I think, with a draw.
Instead, yeah. He played f6, breaking a very important rule.
Instead, he played f6, breaking one of the 3 rules of chess, as I understand them, right? There's
at least
bishop
3.
f1, bishop f1, f6, and either retreat or resign. No, there's more than 3? Rules. Okay, never mind.
There's always play king b1. There's a lot of rules.
Oh, there's a lot. Okay, I'm just scratching the surface. Never mind.
All the rules like will interfere with the other rules, so it makes it hard to play chess.
Ugh. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, Jeffrey wants to get some counterplay on the f file. But does he have any?
Well, I advocate king f8. That's the f file. It doesn't look like
king
counterplay.
F7, close.
Yeah, actually, that's slightly better. I don't know why I would play king f8. Sorry.
Yeah, so rook g5, I can still play.
The idea of this, yeah, exactly. The idea is the same, to be able to take the knight, and then when the rook checks you, to avoid the knight f4 fork, to be able to block with our rook, right? And at the same time, while we're, you know, turning off this rook d5, rook d7 tactic, we're also getting closer to maybe playing knight g7 to f5 or e6.
Yep.
So that's why king moving was my ultimate idea.
So Vladi has done something.
He's done something. I hope it wasn't offering a draw.
A lot different than the last time you saw it, David.
Whoa.
It doesn't look like the last position you saw.
All right, let's have a close look at it. He broke with pawn c4, right in the position we'd seen.
He's trying hard to win.
Right in time. Checks, forces the king back. He's got extra space, and then comes behind. All right, so Tigran's resorting to the old, I trade all your pawns, and then we draw. That makes sense here. So we're going to
I think he can't afford to play h5, then rook f1, rook f6. So he's got to take that.
Yeah.
Well, he could play rook g4 here, but in the end, I think it's just going to be a draw.
I think taking makes sense. And then maybe rook f1 will be played to keep his king out of f4. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if white gets a chance, he'll play rook b1 and take the pawn.
Okay, just rook b1. So, that makes sense, too.
Black might play b3, but it's just
a draw. King here, rook b1.
It's going to be a draw.
Yeah, nothing really to win with there. What about doubled e-pawns in a pure king and pawn ending against the white c-pawn? Oh, they already played something.
In a pure king and pawn ending. H5. Sounds like a draw.
Okay, fair enough. It does sound like a draw. They're playing the variation I was thinking of. You see, rook takes e3 to e4.
That's just a draw.
All right. Thank you for that information. I think it's pretty relevant to the result here. All right. So Titos did win on board 4.
Yeah, he was pretty winning
for Dallas. So he had been pretty winning, but right, he was up a couple pawns. Let's see how this happened. H3, the bishop retreated. He just came in with the knight. Yeah, he was just pretty comfortable here.
Hikaru has a nice double rook ending here. Does Jeffrey have enough to draw? I don't think so. They traded knights. And Hikaru's got a lot of attack on these weak pawns.
And here's the counterplay.
Well, after rook h3, there's no counterplay. Yeah, that's the end of the counterplay.
Okay. What about that counterplay?
H1, well, that's
not good enough?
Yeah, the idea was if rook takes h7, we had rook takes g3 check.
Yep.
That was
the rook ever takes on h7, he's got rook g3.
That's the trick. That's
so at the moment, white can't move all that much. And Jeffrey just played that pretty fast. I mean, he's low on time, but he played it faster than he needed to. It had a faint scent of confidence to me.
Yeah, wow. Okay, so he's going for this king and pawn ending.
Okay.
So if I play b5 and we both queen, that's probably winning for, well, there's a stalemate there. That might be a draw. Huh. Take, king f3 there. We both queen. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, black can do the pawn on a6 for this. Now,
yep.
This isn't easy. He just played rook e3. Wow. Okay, no, he did take. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
There. That's the wrong pawn. I think he has to play b5 after king f3.
He
I think
can't
if white
run
plays
his king to
b5, he
e6.
wins. Okay, he did do that. I think this is a draw.
It's all pre-move.
Because queen takes g6, you can't play because it's stalemate. So you can't play king h8 because queen e5 check wins. But yeah, I think this is a draw. I don't see any way to win it.
And had he moved his queen back to g7, would that endgame have been a win for white?
I assume so, but I'd have to think about where is the white king was on f3.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just wins. Yeah, you can play king e4, king f7, king d5. Yeah.
Oh yeah, very easy win.
Yeah, I don't see how to win this.
Okay.
I mean, if you don't play queen takes g6, black's gonna have a billion checks in a row. So, okay,
Right.
He's allowing the billion checks in a row.
It doesn't seem easy. I would start with queen b1, but I'd be wrong.
Well, you're not necessarily wrong.
No, just one of
the
many.
queen on c4 defends the f4 pawn. So
All right.
that's why he did that.
So the goal here for Jeffrey is to avoid a queen trade.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And the goal for Hikaru is to engineer some kind of a queen
Hikaru
trade
has
or a
2
mating
minutes,
net.
7 seconds.
Oof.
Jeffrey better move.
Yeah, he's got to move something here.
Okay, king g7.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous move.
Yeah.
Wow, 3 seconds left.
Yeah.
Wow, he's just making the time control.
Oh my goodness. Just barely and just barely and just barely.
Yeah.
Velati Wizard and Petrosian agreed to a draw.
Uh-huh. Makes sense.
So, oh, but the Destiny have just won this match on board 3 when we weren't watching. So,
and the Pandas won their match. They're up 8.5, 4.5. That match is over.
yeah.
And the Destiny match is over.
So even if
Vegas
Hikaru
is crushing
wins
San
this,
Jose. Wow.
it won't be enough at this point.
I mean, I don't think he should win, but with a minute 40 to 5 seconds, you never know.
Yeah. Oh, so now his king's in position to trade queens on the 7th rank. That's the end, right? That was his trick.
Yeah, he had to play. Oh, it didn't matter. King f7 lost too. Yeah.
Yep.
That was nice. He put the pressure on him, moved his king up, and Jeffrey's time ran out.
Yeah.
But it was a Pyrrhic victory because Dallas wins anyway.
Yeah. But, I mean, Hikaru's own score came out pretty well there, right?
Yeah.
Converting a couple really close endgames there.
Yep.
He won today rook and knight against rook. He won today queen and 2 pawns against queen and pawn. So he's been squeezing.
Now what's going on with Seattle? They lost.
So Seattle lose 7.5, 8.5, super close. And that
and
leaves
San
Hackers
Jose
and
is
the
behind
Desert
with
Rats.
7-6.
So we've got Shakhriyar Mamedyarov
yeah.
here with white taking on Melik Kachian. He's got 2 outside passers. He's got some worries about his king.
won his game.
Some worries about his king. Did Naroditsky already win?
He won.
Okay. Yeah. That's one good point for the Hackers. But there must be a couple other games going. Ostrovsky and U-Chess.
Yeah, Melik's going to draw this against Mamedyarov. This is going to be a draw.
And so far, U-Chess hasn't shown anything special today. Here he's got black against a Grandmaster. That's a tough
really
4th round pairing for him. That's very good for the Desert Rats.
This is good for Vegas because Melik's going to draw black against Mamedyarov.
And what's happening to his bishop on A2? Wow. I mean, look at Christopher's bishop. It was just straight up trapped here. There was some complicated rook trade on B1 that led to the bishop just having no way out. So, as I see it, he gets a desperation check on H2 and then resigns.
Yep, it doesn't look good.
Which could be the resignation for the team at this point. You think Melik's going to hold this? Let's see. Rook trade.
Yeah.
He's got a bunch of checks.
No, it's a draw. Yeah.
Yeah, if the king goes to the 3rd rank, you take
both players know it's a draw. But he doesn't want to draw Mamedyarov because the team loses.
Yeah, Mamedyarov doesn't want to draw. He's in a tough spot here.
Well, he could try to lose, but I don't recommend that.
No, I'm sure he won't try to lose.
Well, he can't try to win, so he Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have any winning chances now with his king on e1.
Oh, what's up, hackers? How is this possible? How is this possible? The Desert Rats were 1/2, 3.5.
And I was espousing the hackers lineup.
They are the 8th place team in the league. The hackers lineup was so good today. How? How can this happen?
Oh, wow. Mamedyarov is trying to lose.
He is trying to lose. He's allowing like e4 check, forcing
I don't know. Yeah, that's his f pawn's weak. Yeah, this is dangerous.
Yeah, but I think e4 check was better than queen a3.
He has to win, but
so
his king is just wide open. His f pawn's hanging. He can't ever play b6 because he'll lose it. He's not up any material, but he's trying. He'll play queen b3 and he'll push his pawn.
Right. Yeah. I think the right move for black was e4 check instead of queen a3. I think this was like a big mistake here. e4 check, force the king to c4, and then start checking with the queen on a2, etc. Okay. Queen b4 played. Should still
that's amazing. Christopher, you saved his bishop. That bishop
what do you
on
mean
e3.
he saved his bishop?
He saved his bishop. He saved it.
Could have captured it. What are you?
He saved it.
Why did he play bishop h3 instead of taking it?
He saved the bishop.
Bishop b1. Comes back to b1. Queen b3. Queen b8.
Yeah.
Well, so much for this being a foregone conclusion. Why could Stopa not take that piece?
Can black get his queen to g4? Like queen e6, queen g4?
Had he taken it, you mean?
Right. Yeah. If queen takes a2, can I get my queen to g4?
Queen e6.
And then start checking you. Well, it's mate, but.
And then check me till it's mate.
Yeah. Christopher Yu's a genius.
Oh my goodness. F3.
But then he saved his bishop with queen b8.
Genius. This bishop hanging the whole time. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh wow. Wow.
Gotta watch those youngins.
Pure genius. And look at Stopa's idea to try and win. He plays queen a3. He can't capture the bishop, but he can keep it stuck there for a little bit longer. It can also come to c2,
but if bishop
d1,
c2
e2.
To d1 to e2, that's funny.
That bishop would be pretty good on e2 also. I mean,
yeah.
I can't actually imagine a better square.
Never seen that maneuver before. That's
that
pretty
bishop's
cool.
not so bad anymore.
Yeah.
Actually, Christopher's better now. He's better now.
I think Malik might win against Mamedyarov.
Okay, and I think Christopher might
isn't Malik
win
just going to win?
Stopa.
Isn't Malik winning?
I'm on the wrong board. Let me see. What?
I mean, E3, E2, E1. Well, White tried to win, and I said if you try to win, you might lose.
I know you did, and you said his f pawn was hanging, and his f pawn was hanging, and
he's trying to draw somehow.
So why does he not play b6? Is that not his drawing chance? Instead, he plays g4.
No, I play e3, e2, and I queen would check. Oh, okay, yeah, then but you should lose that ending. No, he's playing for perpetual with queen g6 now.
Okay, that seems effective from a certain perspective. Yeah, g4 was good.
He just let him draw.
G4 was good.
Yeah, I mean,
I see it. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mamedyarov switched to playing for a draw in time. No problem.
Yeah, and Kachian probably could have won that if he had tried to win.
I mean, bear in mind that Shak is 2,800, so.
Yeah, let him draw. Yeah, but when you have an extra queen, I don't care what your rating is.
He can take risks and still come out ahead. So Kostya and Ostrowski drew by repetition as well in a queen and pawn ending. So that leaves everything on this board 4 with the crazy bishop.
What's going on? The score 7. What's the score?
I think the Desert Rats have 8 points.
8-7.
So the hackers need their board 4 to score the upset against Stopa. And he went for this bishop f4, trying to get his queen into f4, but queen c1 seems like potentially a nice counter that he didn't necessarily count on. Because now he's not getting his bishop transferred where he wants it. Can he trade and then play queen b3, bishop f1, queen c3? He could. Then queen d1, bishop c2, queen c1. I'm not sure that...
No, queen takes f3. After queen d1, your f3 pawn's hanging.
Yeah. That's the concern.
All 3 results are possible. So if black wins, the match is a tie? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that if black somehow wins, he can tie the match for the hackers. I mean, it would be... Yeah. I mean, this is like one of the games that the Desert Rats lineup was designed to win, was the board 4 versus board 4 matchup.
Yep.
They outperformed. They outperformed throughout the day on the other boards, but
now we can play your idea, bishop c2 to d1.
Yeah, he's got to defend the f pawn. That's the way to do it.
F pawn, yeah.
Got to do it.
That's what he's doing.
And he found it. Nice.
He's got to win, and he has to win, and he knows
nice
it. He
work,
knows what
Chris.
Yeah, you got to win.
The other thing that might improve his position would be putting his queen on b1 at some point.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
King g1 defending his bishop.
Sees it coming, but can do nothing about it. He would have loved to get his king out to g3 or something in time, but no. All right. Queen b1. And then, isn't it like Zugzwang or something? I mean, what is white's next move after queen b1? Somebody tell me.
Man, it's not easy to move. You're right.
Somebody tell me his next move.
I pass.
You pass.
Does
thought
queen b1
so.
just win?
Yeah, it does. No!
Oh, you play queen c3. Now queen c1.
Oh.
Maybe after queen b1, he could play e5 and then try to open up black's king, e6 and queen f4. Yeah, that's probably was okay.
I mean, not okay. White was going to lose.
Was he? After e5?
Surely.
I don't know. He could try to play e6 and open the black king up.
Surely he would have lost.
I mean, white might lose here.
Okay.
He didn't play queen c1, which I expected.
Still within the realm of possibility. I
thought
agree.
he played queen c1. This surprises me.
Well, here I think he gives a queen check, king h7, and then something like queen to f8.
Mm-hmm.
No, bishop c4 would defend that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Wonder if you saw that.
This is the famous game, uh-oh versus SpaghettiOs.
It looks like Wu Jin Yu saw that because he played king h7 pretty fast.
This looks like black's winning. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, bishop c4. Mm-hmm. Is he playing in queen c5? That loses to bishop f1 pretty trivially.
With either color.
Yeah, you play it with white, you'll play it with black.
Well, this looks like black's winning. He would tie the match. Wow.
I would say it looks like black's
board
winning.
4 with white in the last round, which was the whole plan, was the board 4 would beat the other board 4.
I'm not seeing any remaining drawing chances for white. I mean, black's threatening queen c1.
No, and his time's running out too.
Only so many things he can do.
Wow, Christopher, you winning the game to tie the match. That's
That's
pretty impressive. That's pretty awesome.
All right, so now he's looking at playing like e6 at some point. I would just play d3 here, and if you go e6, queen c5, d2. Is that clear enough? Yeah, that d-pawn's clear enough. Is there any other trick or prank? Stopa needs to call Chris's cell phone here. Queen g4 might be strong too at some point.
Yeah, queen c1, queen f4 is good. You get a tempo. Yeah. Okay. There's no checks. Queen takes h4, wins immediately. Queen g4, king f1, queen h. Okay, this one's
d2 is correct because now he's threatening the mating net, right?
Resigns now. Yeah. He tied the matchup. Wow. That was nice.
That was the last thing we expected for that match, I think, for Chris. Who
you left the game thinking he lost his bishop on a2.
I thought he lost his bishop on a2. Also, I think he was 0-3 for the night until this game. Yep, 0-3 for the night. I mean,
that's amazing.
You know, the youngsters, you say they can score an upset at any point, and they're dangerous, and you pair them with good players on the top boards. Mm-hmm. But once you're 0-3, you know, it starts to feel like it's not your night. Man, and the Desert Rats are going to feel like that one somehow slipped away from them, even though if you looked at the lineups before the round, if you just looked at the lineups, you know, you would think that that a draw was quite a good result for them just looking at the lineups. I mean, they were outrated by an average of 43 points facing Mamedyarov Naroditsky lineup.
Yeah.
You'd think they'd be happy, but...
So the matches have all been decided, but the only question is how many points will the Pandas win by?
Match is all decided, so it's just the Pandas racking up tiebreak points, which so far it doesn't look like they're going to need a lot of tiebreak points since they're going to be in Seoul first in the division after this. No, Dallas also won, so they need their tiebreaks. All right. They need their tiebreaks. Let's see. I've got 2 games.
Lost and San Jose was lucky to draw. That wasn't what I was predicting beforehand.
I've got 2 games left for them that I see here.
I see Clark playing.
Okay.
All 3 games are. I see 3 games.
All right. Clark's not playing on my computer, so we'll start with
okay.
Ju Wen versus Smirnov on board 2.
Yeah, it looks good for white. Very good for white.
Nice queen.
Looks very good for white. I like the time and situation also.
Nice knights. But if black trades on c5, what happens? Let's just get concrete for a second. I know he's thinking about it. It looks pretty obvious, but let's say our knight's attacked and we just trade.
Oh, this is funny. If I play knight b7, is your knight trapped on b8? Wow. Knight takes c5, queen b2, knight b7.
All right, so that's your plan, huh? Knight b7 to trap my knight.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's rude.
You don't have like perpetual check? You should.
Definitely rude.
There has to be perpetual there, like queen b1, queen e4. There has to be.
Right.
He played h5.
I don't know. All right.
He's not worried at all.
He played h5. King g2
King G2
seems like a nice improvement for white.
Yeah. If I was black, I would jump at this chance to like try to draw because I have 1 minute to 6. So if I thought that was a draw, I would have played. I wouldn't have played h5.
Maybe he didn't see it far enough or wasn't confident, or there was something wrong with it. But one of the problems for black is that on a simple like knight c5, and bring out his knight to c6, white can play knight d7. Knight
d7 is really strong.
And that hits the queen and introduces the checkmating threats. And that's why Ben was so excited when we first looked at white's queen in this position.
Yeah, it looks good.
Because that potential to end things there. All right, queen b5 was played, supporting the knight on d7 some more. That's logical. So Ju needs to turn up the pressure if she wants to rack up the points. What's next?
Good question.
What's next? How do we rack up?
It's funny. I sort of want to trade queens with white so there's no perpetuals, and then try to win with against that knight on b8. But
that doesn't leave you a lot to work with, huh?
No. No, probably a draw is a fair result. You just like white because of the time situation.
We got some fans of the pandas in the chat room. We got some people saying that they're Chinese, and so they're big fans here. So that's good. That's good that we got some pandas in the league now. Yeah,
they have a different lineup every week, and they seem to always do well.
Yeah, they completely revamped their lineup now.
Yeah.
Their worst result so far was finishing second in Super Saturday behind a dominant Hackers team. But even then, they had a bad result from Yu Yang Yi, and they came back in the last couple rounds and only finished 1.5 points behind the Hackers in second. So
okay, white wants to play knight e6 check, and white wants to play knight b7. And
double threats.
I don't know what black has 30 seconds left.
Double, toil, and threaten.
Whenever it's 4.5 minutes to 30 seconds, the same person always wins. Hikaru was winning these positions when he had a huge time advantage, whether he was winning or not.
Go Pandas, me Canada. I guess they're looking for a rhyme.
Queen b5? What? That doesn't stop knight e6.
No. He couldn't stop both, could he? Knight b7 and knight e6.
Yeah, but knight e6 was the serious threat. Wow. King f6.
Was it? It's just a pawn. It's just a pawn. The game goes on.
Queen e5 check resigns? Resigns. Yeah, that wasn't good.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
You're right. Great defense there.
You're right.
With 20 seconds left, it was virtually hopeless.
Yeah, the
Pandas are racking up the points.
Force them here, force it there, and there you go. Point Pandas. All right, so now we're on to XXY Soul.
That's easy for you to say.
XXY Soul.
And again, somebody has a lot more time than somebody else.
Whoa, but he also sacrificed and chased down the king, so I'm loving that.
Also good. All those bishops are hanging on the first row there.
Queen takes c1 is a plausible move too.
That's what I would play.
That's what you would play, yeah. Hard to beat that. I mean, that leaves him up a pawn with a double attack on f4 and b1, 10 threats, and an instant win. Yep. Oh, man.
Yeah, this is, man, they're really racking up the points this match.
They're racking up the fans, too. The crowd's going wild now.
They're up by 5.
I've never seen anyone cheer like this before. Ja-yo, ja-yo. They're excited about tiebreak points, man. Imagine if they had like an 8.5, 7.5 match. But
yeah, this was a real demolition. This match wasn't close.
So they're at 9.5.
I never thought I'd see the day when Yu Yang-yi was benched. Oh.
Yeah. He must have benched himself. I think he's.
Yeah, and how did Wang Yue do on board
lineups.
1? Did he get 3.5?
How did Wang Yue do on board 1?
Yeah.
I don't know. Really good?
Yeah, that's a good guess.
You tell me.
Let's see. I can tell you. Or can I? Oh, that's just the pairings. That's not the results. Let's see. Yeah, I think he got 3.5.
Man, the Chess.com chat is just all Panda fans. There's not.
Yeah, let me have a look at this chat.
There's not a single person not cheering for the Pandas.
It seems like it's only a couple of guys. Okay.
No, it's like it's at least 10 different people. I don't know, maybe more. It's Pandas.
But just, maybe when they say Pandas, they don't like them. Like Pandas, no, I think they like them.
No, yeah, this is not like there's a panda in my house. Call 911 for me. This is.
I like Ifan and Chu because I'm a girl and Chinese, just like them. Okay.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, that's some spamming the chat with pandas. That's pretty good.
Yep.
We don't see those kind of things on Twitch. Oh, wait a minute. It says pandas. Okay,
Xu Xiang, you did this a little bit differently than we expected.
What? I'm not 49. Are you kidding me? I'm not even close to 49. Okay, I'm 48.
Oh, we found a couple hackers in the audience. All right, so Xu Xiangyu didn't do this the way one would have expected. He didn't play the queen takes c1 move. Instead, it
was too good.
Doing something complicated, and now somehow Taimur's bishops are not looking as suspicious as they were before.
What was that all about? How did knight takes? Wow, that wasn't good technique at all.
No, there was some hiccups instead of killing the suspicious bishops.
Yeah. This seems like it's a draw now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Kangaroos. No. And then there's one more game left, which I think I see and you don't.
Nope. Yeah. Not me.
It's bishop and knight versus rook.
Give me a username for it, okay?
Yeah. B Clark Panda 0. And white was probably losing, and now white's winning. So Australia's going to win the last game.
That's what you say. That's what you say.
Although Australia has 11 seconds left.
How can you be sure? 11 seconds.
But that should be enough time here.
He's only down a couple pawns.
What?
He doesn't have a lot of.
No, this looks good for white.
A lot of moves have been played. It's just going so fast. Take. Whoa.
Exactly.
Whoa. How fast are they moving?
Oh.
I guess that's what happens when you got 10 seconds.
Yeah.
All right, so Australia, the Kangaroos, will get their own tiebreak point here.
Yeah, they'll get some points.
They'll get their own tiebreak point here.
And Zhang Yu should.
Yeah, they're winning that. So let's see how Xiang Yu's doing. I mean, this game is complicated. Couple seconds.
Well, they've been repeating. They're going to agree to a draw.
3-fold repetition.
It's been like a 7-fold repetition.
Man, why didn't he play Queen C1? Was there something wrong with that?
I don't know. That looked really strong to me.
It looks so strong.
It's the 9-time repetition.
The 9-fold repetition. How many times have you drawn a game by 9-fold repetition?
About 9.
About 9. I've done it many times.
Yeah,
I've done it many times.
Many. Yeah, I believe you.
I don't like draws, so
yeah,
I go back and forth.
So the final score is going to be
final score will be 10 to 6. 10
to 6. Should have been more.
They could have even had a half point more. I agree. Yeah. Right here, Xu Xiangyu, queen takes c1. What's wrong with that?
That looks too good.
What's wrong with that? I mean, does white have any kind of tactics?
Rook takes f7?
Rook takes f7?
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
If the king takes it, then queen h7.
That's the idea.
If the king doesn't take it, then queen h7 would be even better, frankly. So let's just take it and see if there's anything going on there. Queen h7, king e6, queen g6, king d7, And yeah, you can't win because bishop f5, and if your king ever crosses to the c file, there's rook c2. So maybe Xiang Yu was looking deeper than us.
That wasn't so bad. They're just better than us.
Yeah, so queen check,
they
queen
see more than what we
c1,
do.
rook f7. But is there any move other than taking the rook, like h5 or h6 or something to win with? H6. He has so much going for him. I mean, I understand that's a little bit scary to keep playing that position.
Maybe bishop g6.
Right, so simple, the bishops. First, the rook was attacked, we take on f7. Then the bishop's attack, we take on g6. It feels like everything's going white's way with that.
Yeah, it's weird.
With that sequence of moves. And then, basically, the rook on a8 is passive. The black king is just as mated as the white king. White's up a pawn, and all his pieces are better. So that's not how you win, is it?
That's maybe how I win, but yeah.
Not really, yeah. All right. Greg's telling me all the standings are updated, so let's have a quick look at the scoreboard here.
You look correct.
Nope, not like that. Not like that. There we go. Pandas. Pandas and the Destiny at the top here. 4.5 out of 5. Both teams looking really strong. The Pandas still have enough tiebreak points for the moment to lead. And then you see 51.5 total points from both the Surfers and the Kangaroos, even though they're trailing the Destiny by a couple match points, you know, 1 and 1.5 match points. So that tells you how squeaky close the Destiny's matches have been, I think.
And look at the Hackers. They're 2.5, 2.5, and they have more match points.
They have more points than the Destiny. Oh, that's rough. So the Destiny, this is not their first 8.5, 7.5 rodeo. We got to think. We got to think that they've been eking out these matches so far.
It's their destiny.
Wow. All right. So best team today, Ben, in the Pacific. Who do you think looked best today?
Who looked best today?
Yeah.
The Surfers.
The Surfers.
Look great. They look great.
They look good today.
Yeah, they won pretty handily.
Yeah, they came out 8-4.
Yeah, and
pretty
thanks
crushing.
To Keaton Kirwa with a crushing performance on board 3. Or board 4. Board 3? Yeah.
Board 3.
Yeah. Crushing.
Yeah. Oh, I'm being told in chat that next week's matchup, San Jose versus Chengdu.
The truth hurts.
Yeah. But most popular team in America, apparently the Pandas. Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Yeah, they look good on paper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Made popular earlier in the broadcast first week by Josh Friedel. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm with the chat, which is saying that Chengdu probably looks like the strongest team in the Pacific, even though the Surfers looked really good today. There were chinks. I mean, they got a kind of lucky win from Dreyev with a rook and knight against the queen. And, you know, overall that match could have gotten pretty close. And, you know, they were playing against the Ospreys, who are like, you know, the bottom team in the entire league, whereas Chengdu just beat down the Kangaroos, who were 3-1 and were up here in the, you know, as a potential playoff team, and they beat them down pretty hard. So I'm going to still say, I know it's the boring pick, but, you know, even without Yu Yang Yi, the Pandas show another look. They show a look where they don't put a 2000 on board 4, but instead a 23-20 player who can really compete throughout the match.
They're a deep team, that's for sure.
They've still got 3 GMs, and they still put on a great show. So I think Ju Wenjun didn't have a good outing her first match in the first week.
That's right.
I think she was like the one not overperforming bright spot for them there, and it looks like she found her form this week. So, I mean, overall, to me, the Pandas still seem like they've got multiple strong lineups, multiple players who are overperforming, and tops in the West for the first half of the season at least.
I mean, they were my favorite before the season started. I don't really see any reason to not pick them. Although Dallas could be the team of destiny.
Yeah. Yeah, all they have to do is score an 8.5 every week, and it doesn't matter if they can't rack up the score.
Yep. Well, another interesting round of tough matches, and I'm surprised the San Jose Vegas match was tied, and that was a great finish with the board 4, the lower rated player winning with black in the last game.
Yeah, that was
sort of called it for dead.
Pretty exciting. Chris Christopher Yu. Coming through for the Hackers. Several exciting matches today. Well, two really close matches, two pretty nice crushing matches. And that was great. We'll wait till next week to see you all. And thanks for watching.
Yep. Thanks, everyone. See you next time.